Welcome along to another Racing Post Live. Dave Orton back with you for a sizzling Sunday. Sunday best, the headline in the Racing Post today. Quite right. What a treat we have in store for you. It just keeps getting better this jump season, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, and was the headline yesterday after Gary Moore's star hurdler came back and really shook up the champion hurdle picture. We'll be getting lines from the panellists on that. Do keep your social media questions coming in. We'd love to hear from our viewers out there. Great feedback from yesterday's show. Absolute pandemonium we had in here with Matty Batchelor and Graham Rodway as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Facebook Live, you can get all your comments in. The guys in the gallery today, Rob and Will, will be sifting through them and we'll give you a good shout out. Let us know what your naps are. How's your Cheltenham portfolio looking? It's Sunday. What an absolute treat. And a treat of a panel we have for you as well. Tom Collins joins me back in the show.
Very much looking forward to this afternoon, Dave.
Confidence from our 10-point Thomas today.
Yeah, no, confidence is high. Had a bit of a rough day yesterday. Regal Encore was one that properly hurt.
Oh, what drama that was.
Oh, God, the heart was beating after that. I thought it was going to get up, but it just wasn't to be.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
But
slow
confidence
watch.
is high. Oh, yeah, definitely.
You got the train in?
Yeah, I did get training, yeah.
Quiet train, was it?
Well, the guy in front of me had 6 Stellas at 10 a.m, so that was nice. But no.
7 Stellas. 10-point Tom were nearly calling you after that.
Yeah, I was tempted to join him.
But one, did he? No,
he didn't.
There's supposed to be quiet things, these trains at the moment, aren't there? Ross Brierley joins us as well, back on the panel, coming all the way down from Leeds. With quiet train.
Well, I mean, I was trying to just drink me 6 cans of Stella, and there's someone giving me stick behind. So,
do you think there must be some people out there that are just like, I'm just going to train ride it around the country, at the moment?
Probably.
Who'd know?
I mean, it's probably safer and cleaner than being if you live in a block of flats or something. At least the train's getting cleaned every hour, and of course, I mean. Yes, you get to see places you wouldn't see normally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why not drink at 10 o'clock in the morning? The whole world's shut down.
Indeed. Let's hope you are enjoying yourself wherever you're watching us from. Kick back. Honestly, we're going to have loads of fun again this afternoon. It was pandemonium in here yesterday, honestly. You cannot get paid enough to control Graham Rodway when he's on fire, and Matty Batch as well. Barry Orr was with us yesterday as well. Back for another stint, Barry.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Looking forward to today. Some cracking racing, loads of pointers towards the festival, and a lot of puzzles to unpick.
Normally you'd be on course for this. It's your big day, Barry, isn't it? Of course, 125 grand in the Betfair hurdle. Finally, we get it on. A lot of strings had to be pulled to get this on. We're popping to Market Rasen as well, so good racing there. We've got the Boyne hurdle as well in Ireland. Decent card at Navan. Tiger Roll coming back. But really, it's all about Newbury.
Yeah, it surely is. Yeah, obviously we get to see Champ and the curveball that Nicky Henderson threw us last week when he said he wasn't going for the Denman Chase, but instead heading to the Betfair Game Spirit. That raised a few eyebrows, no doubt. And be interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously, the Betfair hurl itself, 7 places on the sports book, the each way punters there. I think we're going to need every single one of them. It looks a real tricky puzzle, even more so than other years this time round. A lot of uncertainty around some of the market principles and some nice exchange angles there.
Yeah, your radar's been on point as ever, Barry. Is there one that you're really looking forward to trading with? You're going to be showcasing the functionality of the exchange, of course. Barry does all this for charity if you're new to the show. It's been going really well for the IGF, the Injured Jockeys Farm. We're well up in profit there. You don't have to play in every race. It's all about safe gambling. We're just having fun here. You'll get real-time reaction and analysis. The Caution story yesterday. We'll get a word from the panel on that in just a sec. But Barry, have you got a juicy one out there for people to target on?
Yeah, I think today, from an exchange point of view, and like you say, just showing the functionality of the exchange and the different things we can do. And one of the races that interests me is the race we alluded to just there, Champ in the Betfair Game Spirit. And I think he could be one that tries to go off and make all. And I'd like to back him before and lay him back in running. So I think there is a nice angle there where we could lock in a profit around Champ in the Game Spirit.
In the Betfair Game Spirit. It's got a nice sound to it. It's got a nice sound to it, that, Barry. I tell you, absolutely, as people look for their pot builders. Barry mentioned about a curveball there. I've said the word curveball like many people this week. I mean, Shane Warne would be proud of that delivery from Nicky Henderson, wouldn't he? A doucher or whatever you call it in cricket, a googly. It was one of the strangest things I've seen as a prep for a Gold Cup horse I can remember.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've heard he's going to run Altior in the Winter Derby next week as well, so just wait.
He's talented enough to go on that,
I mean, over the past few years, Nicky Henderson seems to have sort of thought, I tell you what, I've conquered this game. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've won pretty much every race I can. Let's mix it up and see what happens. See if I can still win a Gold Cup off the back of a 2-mile chase of 3 weeks before. So
Yeah.
fair play. We keep talking about this winter about how quite dull some of the weeks have been in comparison to what you normally want. This is it. This is what we want. We want those curveballs.
It is warming up, isn't it? Absolutely. Is he quick enough for 2 miles to lead the field? With Barry's angle is maybe he will go to the front. Only Magic Saint amongst the 6 that go look like they're on paper pace potential.
I think he probably is. I think he's quick enough to lead the field. I think he may lack the speed in the closing stages when the real players like Sir Royale and Grenadine and Fanny Destroval, go for the line and try and hit 6th gear. But to me, considering I watch US racing and they do this thing where they go from 5 furlongs to a mile in big jumps, and they do it all the time in the US, a 2-mile prep for a Gold Cup doesn't actually seem like a bad thing to me.
Here we go. We've found a fan of the prep.
Of
course we have.
I wouldn't say fan, but I can understand it. Like 3 weeks in advance, you don't want to give him a really tough race. Going over a shorter distance, he's got the engine, hasn't he?
He has been to the course as well and had that other unusual prep, and that they made it a 3-mile race of sorts, didn't they, as well? So
and he runs the track really well, so it might be that there are actually more positives than negatives. Everyone's focusing on the trip. It's not just the trip, of course, but it's if you're going to run a marathon next week, if you don't run a marathon the week before to train for it, do you? You prep for it. So it's it makes me think of Mike de Kock as well with his Dubai runners.
We're mentioning them all today, aren't we?
Get them all in.
Show. It's fantastic.
Well, he'd run 1.5-mile horses over 7-8 furlongs a few weeks before to get that sort of 80% of the cobwebs
all about
blown off.
The prep. Do you think we're a little bit obsessed with the 1-1-1s going into these championship races?
Yeah, I think so. Cheltenham's the goal, isn't it, for Champ? Nick Anderson won't be sending him out today thinking he needs to win this race to go to Cheltenham and then win.
What does he need to do today? That's a good question.
I think he needs to jump well. I think he needs to show up for a long way. And if he gets outpaced in the closing stages, then he gets outpaced, As long as he runs his race and proves that he retains all the ability that we've seen in previous seasons, then I think Champ's a player come next month.
Champ, extremely well named horse, isn't he? Let's get some socials up. Listen, you say these certain names and people just come in. Mally Draycott opens the show. Good to have you back on, Mally. Taking a chance with Kadzan today in the 3:35. That's our final race here. The big Betfair handicap. Kadzan, strong in the market, isn't it? For Team Skelton, who had a treble yesterday. Unbelievable treble. Get to Ross Brierley on that shortly. At Ascot. Rebecca James. Great to have you on, Rebecca. For pleasure in the Betfair hurdle for me. Do you know what? Interesting. Spoke to Alex Hales, the trainer, about this. This was the For Pleasure that tore off, you remember, at Cheltenham in the open meeting. You only got one way of running. And I said to Alex, having spoken to him after that, I said, would you be looking for a handicap? And he brushed me away and said, I think we'll just keep him in novices. They obviously like his opening handicap mark. And this used to be a race, Rebecca, where you would just go off, a Gary Moore horse. There's another seamless link coming for what I'm going to ask you about next. And they just keep going. So, For Pleasure. And it's a deep race, isn't it? Who have we got? We've got one more coming up as well. Matt McKenna joins the show and says, TC, thanks for the US tips. Get out of the way early. Let's have some winners, peeps. Yes, indeed. That's what it's all about. You said to Barry, didn't you, before the show, how you doing? He said some winners would help. Quite right. Do you think we're going to get some winners today, Barry? How's the feeling? We're confident?
Yeah, I like plenty of horses today. I think there's some good action, and always confident. It's the hope that kills your mind, but we got to keep going, don't we? It's the eternal optimism of the punter. That's why we're all still involved in the game. Absolutely, yes. And your nap today, 10-point Tom, is
Soaring Glory in the Betfair hurdle.
Yeah, I like him as well. I'd say, I know he's knocking it out the park, Barry. Absolutely. A big white hope before we go to
2. Let's have 2. Because I'm greedy. French Dynamite, I think, has the. Hopefully, they'll both do exactly the same thing. French Dynamite, Magic Saint, Magic Saint at Newbury, both look to have ideal run styles for the races.
Absolutely. A quick word about Goshen. I'm getting pressured to go to the first race, but let's have a quick word about Goshen. You weren't as totally starstruck by everyone, like everyone else, were you?
No, I thought he was impressive. He did it well, and obviously that's what we want to see from Goshen, returning back to form. But what did he beat? I mean, Song for Someone was under pressure from the start.
He beat the Coral Hurdle, winning the international winner.
But did they run to their races?
Well, the RPRs aren't up yet, actually. The handicappers have been having a nice Sunday line, but they will be on Monday. We'll see.
I think he was impressive, but I wouldn't say he's back.
Tom Simmons was very complimentary about the winner.
Was he?
Yeah, that would be typical Tom, actually, to be gracious about it, who trains the runner-up. Goshen wins the champion hurdle or not?
I don't think he wins the Champion Hurdle, no. Not this year. Maybe next year. I think he might, he is very all or nothing. And when we're talking about Betfair, backing to win, lame to place. He's one or the other.
Can he give £7 to those mighty mares in the Champion Hurdle? Let us know. What did you make of the weekend so far? And what's going on? We'll talk about pretty much anything on the show. We've got dictated to by the racing, which must come in the next race at Newbury. It's the 150, a staying handicap hurdle. Really wide open betting heat. Barry Orr.
Yeah, it is, and we have flip-flopping favourites here. Sizable Sam now heading to market at 5.8 ahead of Southfield Harvest, who's 6.2. The window with Gavin Sheehan, he's been the one that's been the big springer in the race, has been as big as 14 to 1, has halved in price into 8.2, which is 7 to 1 now. I like Sizable Sam, though. He's quite an inexperienced horse. He won his first time in a handicap in Wincanton last day off 121 or 124. He duly obliged. He looked tough that day. A couple of things went against him. Ran very green. He got £7 for that. He's still off 131, which I think is a workable mark for him. He's very few miles in the clock, like I said. He's 5 times to the track. He's won on 3 occasions, and he's been second twice. So it's hard to knock him at this stage. He's 40 connections, Grade 1 winning connections yesterday with Dashel Drasher, Jeremy Scott, and Matt Griffiths. And I like him, and I'm just going to back him to win. At 5.8 there he is at the moment, but we're going to be a price maker here. I think he's going to create, it's going to drift out. So I wouldn't mind backing him around 6.2. So we can put in to back him at 6.2, and we're going to have 50 quid on him. We can go back and have a look at I'm confident we'll get matched, but we can come back and have a look before the race goes in play. So 6.2, Sizable Sam. You don't have to be a price taker all the time in the exchange. You can actually make a price, and that's what I've done in this occasion.
Yeah, lovely, Barry. Thank you very much. So, the viewers out there, you have time to respond if you'd like to get involved. I have to say, I like Sizable Sam as well for Team Scott and Griffiths, who took out the Ascot Chase yesterday with a remarkable Dashel Drasher. That was one of the bravest performances I think we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, proper Ascot horse, isn't he? Dashel Drasher.
Crack on in front and off we go.
Well, that's the thing in Ascot. Yeah, you watch it. I mean, you were talking about Regal Encore and various other races this year. You're watching Ascot races, thinking one thing's going to happen, and all the way down the home straight. If you're on the front runner, you end up prevailing most of the time. But it's pretty painful to watch for the last couple of fences, that's for sure. But yeah, Sizable Sam's got to have a chance, hasn't he? He's a huge big horse. He looked like he was going to get beaten at Wincanton, and then he came back. So the step up in trip, very interesting. I think he does have to improve, though. I think he definitely has to improve. So that's my slight concern for Sizable Sam, is there might be a couple of improvers or better horses than him in this race.
Yeah, opening mark of 131, I think he will be better than that. And I think, along with Dashel Drasher, he's very highly regarded by Jeremy Scott. I like him. You like one, Ross Brierley, that's Barry had mentioned there.
Yes, Darwin, or Dowen, however you want to pronounce it, for the Informed Grey Tricks team, which we haven't said that often over the past sort of 12 months. Yeah, this horse, everything screams out that the step up in trip will suit him. He's by Yates. I was looking at the stats for his hurdlers. Up to 2.5 miles, he's about a 10% strike rate. Once you get round to 3 miles, it's a 15% strike rate, which is a huge jump. He's also got stamina in the dam side as well. The Grand Dam's closely rated to Harbour Pilot.
It's all there.
Third to
used to be Trevor
Hemmings,
Hemmings, didn't it? And Trevor Hemmings, a cloth cap, etc. Many clouds, the entry maestro, as we might call him. He had a consignment of horses, didn't he? He's a little bit older now. COVID has restricted his movement to the tracks, and a couple of the horses he sold actually did quite well. This is one that's bubbling under, you're saying?
I think so, yeah. He caught the eye at Ascot and at Kempton when going way too late. In the Lanzarote last time out, he was scrubbed along coming into the home straight, and he kept plugging. And I just think that if he's not too far behind when they turn into the home straight, which is always key at Newbury.
Absolutely.
If he's mid-division, he will stay on very strongly.
That's a good point that Ross makes. I watched that back with him. You can do that in your members section on your Racing Post. Check out these replays. We were talking about the horse. Visual evidence, absolutely key. And I'm with Ross. He was running on. We've had one race already at Newbury before we get TC selection, and 2 were up there throughout. Garrow beat a horse called Good Ball of Paul Nicholls. They were basically concertinaed as they came into home straight. 2 just kicked clear and stayed there. The other thing to say about Newbury is it's drying all the time. Spring, it is on the horizon. Good to soft ground, thank goodness, for the first time in ages. TC, what takes the opener?
Yeah, and good soft ground. Quicker ground is why I like Es Perfecto. for Alan King, now we've mentioned a few informed trainers, Jeremy Scott, Dan Skelton, Warren Greychoke as well. Alan King's not one. He's only had 1 for 23 in the last 2 weeks. However, his horses haven't been running too badly, and I think this Es Perfecto's ready to run a big race off a mark of 133 on handicap debut. Step Up and Trip's definitely going to suit. Over 2.5 miles, been staying on well. Finished second to Brave Man's Game last time, who's obviously a Grade 1 winner now.
Yeah.
Fancy for the Ballymore.
You'd like to see that form advertised, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
You know, it'd be great to see Paul Nicholls have a big say in a Ballymore again. I think we all agree on that.
I mean, 100%. And the RPRs are there to suggest that Es Perfecto is well treated off a mark of 133. I'm just hoping that he's not going to get too outpaced early because he seems a bit slow. Like he was getting outpaced behind horses in novice hurdles. Obviously, I'm not taking Brave Man's Game in this because he has a huge engine, but in his previous novice and maiden hurdles, he was getting outpaced. So the Step Up and Trip will suit. I'm worried about Sizable Sam because I think he's a really good horse. He beat Kadzand, who's obviously favourite for the Betfair
Would
hurdle.
you keep him on the side, do you think, Sizable Sam? It's a race where you can, isn't it? You know,
I'd be saving on him if I was to bet in the race. But I think he's better over fences. He's a huge horse, Sizable Sam.
Have you got some US horses for us for tonight?
I've got one, but it's not a price. Like the racing's tough.
It doesn't matter. Look, people have asked you for a winner, so we'll get that at the end of the show. I meant to get that in. Of all the trainers in the last 10 years that have got the best record in this, Alan King is the one. Actually, won this 2 years ago. We talk is cheap, of course. He went on to win a Bet365 Gold Cup. Could he be an interesting one in the National later on, actually? And from just 5 runs, he's had 3 places as well. So, is it a Perfecto? That's how I
wasn't sure. I was going to go for that.
Hey, Perfecto!
But people mock me for my French pronunciations all the time, so I wasn't sure if I was going to go for A or Ez. So it's like the David Villa or David Villa.
You wouldn't strike me as a stylish linguist, TC.
How rude!
Having spent time with him, I know I'm right. Okay, so that's the 150 and a couple of picks for you. Let us know. Keep your selections coming in throughout the afternoon. Barry, let's see how the market is sizing up. Is Sizable Sam hardening or?
Yeah, he just gone to 6.2 now, so we are matched, thankfully. He was hovering around 5.8. He's out to 6.4 now, so he's drifting a little. Dowin strong at 7. Silent Assassin into 9.6. Southfield Harvest 7.2. So, I think they're just lining up in Newbury now, and looks like Sizable Sam is going to go off favour.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, Injured Jockey Fun we are indeed playing for again today throughout all of February. It's nearly over, isn't it? Look, how do you feel about this sudden drying of the ground? Seeing as you've had a wet winter. It used to be something, punters could, sort of hang their hat on, couldn't it? Come Cheltenham time, you're going to get some spring ground. It's been heavy at the first Supreme Office hurdle a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does it worry you about form turning on its head, or?
Yes, definitely. Everyone's been using trackers and been thinking, this horse is going to win next time and whatnot on heavy ground, and now it's suddenly quick ground. And you'll see these horses that are sent off favourite because of their recent starts, and then they just out the back because it's completely different conditions.
6.3 on both courses at around about 8:30 this morning at Newbury. To put that into context, it was 3.4 at Wincanton yesterday. So the lower it is, the softer and the more testing it is on the going stick. And as we saw, Gosham ploughing through the mud and a couple of handicap chases there, hard work. This is bordering on genuinely good ground. We'll be looking at the times, Roscoe, won't we?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, then you've got also Market Rasen, which I think will be very different indeed.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what Tom just said then. Horses going into races off the back of recent form. This is what I mean. If the favourites start winning, then I know I've had a bad day. So that's
you're an out the ball punter, I would say, aren't you?
It's going through periods of very strong profit, and sometimes when the obvious happens, you don't have a good day.
Yeah.
So, speaking of bad ground, the one horse I was a little bit interested in here at a big price, who most of its form does come in soft ground, but bearing in mind another meeting we got on today was Sir Robbie, who's all its form come at Utoxeter, and I thought that was quite interesting, given this is a fairly similar track, but that one's got some good numbers as well. But you're right, it's spring ground. Good riddance to the winter, I say.
Yeah, well, quite, absolutely. And I think the whole country's looking forward to some slightly warmer seasons, aren't we, ahead? Absolutely. All right, 150. We're going to share the commentaries today, are we?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm delighted you're in, I have to say. I was trying to commentate on some of these races yesterday. Honestly, a Matty back to the decibels and the pitches. He was like a sort of top C, which in operatic world is pretty high. Absolutely. So off we go. Then I'll take this first one, Roscoe. And 150 then, the staying handicap and Dowin for the aforementioned Greytrex and Gav Sheehan team are right up there with, looking down, Vive Le Roi for Harry Bannister and Tony Carroll. Also got some back form. Sizable Sam right up there. Oh no! Go Winner's gone, and a badly hampered A Perfecto and Southfield Harvest as well. Roscoe out after the second hurdle.
I was just watching that thinking, perfect. We don't want him to be too far behind. He's got a perfect position there, and I don't know if the horse is so used to being held up that he was. I don't know if he was expecting something different, but yeah.
Novice full that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Okay, all right. So they're not hanging around either. Actually, well strung out at the moment as well. Southfield Harvest is a horse we didn't really talk about pre-race for Nichols and Cobden. You said before we came in, you said it could conceivably go through the card.
Absolutely. He's had the second in the first race. He's got he's got 5 runners in the graded races today, and he's got an interesting bumper horse.
Yeah,
He's got a couple in the Betfair hurdle, and he's got a Southfield Harvest who. Those two were miles clear last time out, and he looks like he'll improve for the step up.
I think he'll make a great chase at this Southfield Harvest, but he just looks a bit weak to me. I mean, I could be proven wrong, and he could go and win this. But
was it a Potemps race that he was quite? Yeah, it was second in a Potemps race, wasn't it? At Wincanton last time we saw him over the Christmas meeting. So, but maybe that's his big target. But he's sitting nicely in midfield. Palmer's Hill is in midfield. This is a horse that often, when right, attracts a good deal of support for JP McManus. He's turning out after 73 days. Watch out for a big run from him. Howling Milan, a horse that hasn't quite got it together since winning at the course a couple back, but he absolutely flew that one for Robbie Dunn and Samuel Drinkwater. He's in about 5th position. Present Value for Team Wedge and Williams. He's got a nice sit at the moment. Sir Robbie, who Ross gave a mention to, he's out the back at the moment. What else is out the back? Where's Polish? He's out the back. He's a horse, if Polish wins this, the mic will be off, the ear will be coming out, and I'll be storming out because I've been backing him, and just let him go this time. A Perfecto. I think I'm going to call him A Perfecto if you don't mind, TT.
No, I love it.
He's nicely in restraint. He got a little bit hampered by the faller, but nothing serious.
No, he's been travelling nicely and jumped really well the first one down the straight. Let's see how he jumps this one. Yeah, perfect. So he's going well at the moment.
Would you worry he's a little bit too far back on what Roscoe said?
I don't think so. I'm happy with where he is. It's not like he's last and ridden along. He's going very nicely in midfield at the moment.
One horse that will like a return to good ground is Limited Reserve. First time tongue tie. Robbie Power back over, of course, to run. Lost in translation in the Denman chase. Do you fancy him? Let us know. Nordano out the back as well. Bryony Frost and Neil King. Real proper Newbury handicap this, as all of a sudden Vive War heads out onto the final circuit, and now looks like he's trying to get ahead of steam from Comanche Red. Well handicapped on his chase form, this chapman. Chris Gordon, green shoots of recovery for his horse. He's had a couple of bumper winners. I think, as ever, he's going to have a pretty good spring. Right out the back as well, I should mention Kitty's Light, who Rob Lee in the studio, our senior producer, absolutely loves this horse. Is he a Midlands national horse? But they're just preserving that chase mark. He will like the ground as well. Been running in some more weather bumpers. And Del Arca, I think I've mentioned them all now. He sits in midfield, a course winner earlier in the season. TT, who's catching your eye? El Perfecto still?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at El Perfecto, obviously. He's my interest in the race, and he's going very nicely. Sizable Sound's in the perfect position as well and jumping well up front. Southfield Harvest making a big mid-race move up into a good position in 4th or 5th right now.
Let's go to Barry then as they start to get a little bit more serious with the gallop. Barry, who's the market like?
Yeah, the market principles to the 4 in, running 4.1 Sizable Sam, 5.1 Southfield Harvest, 7.6 El Perfecto, and 9.4 Silent Assistant. Is it?
Assassin. Oh, it's assistant.
Sorry.
It is assistant. Yeah. You're right. I miscorrected you there. For Emma Lavelle, who can do very little wrong at the minute as well, has got some good form around Cheltenham. Will this be sharp enough for him? We'll find out. Now they are really starting to get racing, Roscoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you can get the feeling that Matt Griffiths is thinking on Sizable Sam. I know this horse is going to keep going and going and going. He looks like he's going to kick on into the home straight, which is certainly not the worst idea. And I wonder whether that was prompted the move on Southfield Harvest to think, well, he's my rival. He can't get away from me. And Southfield Harvest just...
I'd say he might just continue to want to lead, would he? Because he ran very green when he got to the front in Wincanton. That might be in their mind. So try to stay just... happy to have something beside him as long as they can. But yeah, you're right. He will stay all day.
Well, as we've seen with Dashel Drasher, just keep it simple. They're saying we've got a horse that we know will stay. He's ahead of his mark, and they are cracking on now. Now they're turning on the turbos. Comanche Red goes with him. Vive Loire just cracking perhaps. Southfield Harvest creeping closer. Palmer's Hill feeding the punch. Looking down, Present Value, first time cheap pieces. He hasn't gone for it quite yet. Kitty's Light, Del Arca and Polish all out the back. Here comes Palmer's Hill as well. A Perfecto, he's absolutely cruising, TT.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that he pulled a bit too hard hard early, but no horse is going better than him right this minute.
Oh, my goodness gracious me. Right, Sizable Sam is going to have some 3 out. He's over it absolutely fine.
Go on,
maybe
Bellamy.
just left his legs out. I'll tell you what, A Perfecto, stop the contest. Will he get home? That's, I guess, what Tom Cannon's thinking.
6 to 4
Tom
on
Bellamy
A
at the
Perfecto.
moment. 6 to 4 on A Perfecto with 2 to jump. It's a long way home. Has he gone too soon? Polish is going to the inside. Don't you dare get up Paddy Brennan on this. Roscoe, call it. 2 out.
Southfield Harvest's got a chance. Again, A Perfecto is the stamina. I think Southfield Harvest is going to outstay a couple of these.
I'll tell you what, Sizable Sam coming back. There's that greenness. So he's definitely still a green one. He's coming back. You can hear Barry's getting excited there. There's 6 abreast then. Southfield Harvest, Howling Milan. Polish on the inside. Don't you dare. Unbelievable. I'll go mad if this wins. He's coming up on the inside then. Polish. Oh my goodness gracious me. Howling Milan. I don't believe it. It's an opening stinker for Dave Orton. I've been backing this horse throughout. I backed him in the Lanzarote. I think he pulled up. This is a classic getting back on some good ground. And I've let him go. Didn't think he'd see out the 3 miles. That's all he's been waiting for. Unbelievable. Paddy Brennan, hands and heels in the end on the running from Howling Milan. Southfield Harvest, not sure what happened to A Perfecto. We'll get the panels there. Sizing Sam back in about 5th place. Barry Hort, story of the market. When did they pick up that winner?
Oh, geez. Southfield Harvest traded at a low of 2.1, so 11 to 10. El Perfecto traded at a low of 2 to 1 on 1.50. What else have we there? I'm trying to scroll down to the horse that I backed. And it's Sizable Sam traded at a low of 3.0, which is 2 to 1. Whole host of horses in there. Your winner, Polish, had a Betfair SP, traded at a high of 160, Dave. You'll be glad to hear. Polish traded at a high of 160.
I'm glad to hear it.
Had a Betfair SP of 17.
I put this chap up in the Lanzarote, and Paul Keeley said, he grimaced, and he said he whacks one out the ground. And that, for me, was, I think Kills might be onto something here, but it's clearly ground with this horse. Look, we're getting on the spring ground.
We are, and this is the thing. Again, just go through just scrape him out of the form book, get rid of those soft ground runs. What's more annoying for me is that Dowen was 4 places ahead of Polish in the Lanzarote. So
what a cruel way to do your dough, isn't it? Fall at the first like that. It's just absolutely criminal.
This is a cruel mistress of a game, isn't it? The best game of all.
I was going to say, I don't
could
know
work out a decent race, that could.
Yeah, I think so, Barry. Yeah, the right horses are there, aren't they? A Perfecto then, TC. What happened?
He just kind of hit a flat spot between the second last and the last, and then he stayed on really well at the finish and was only beaten a length by Southfield Harvest in 3rd.
Was it that keenness?
Yeah, I think so. I think that took its toll. And also, he was wondering about coming towards the last. He still looks green. He's only had 5 starts. He is a horse that is going to be winning off his mark of 133. I presume he won't get put up. Maybe if he does, it'll be a pound or 2. He's going to win off that.
I'd say it'd be harsh to put him up on that. Maybe a pound or 2, but that's harsh.
Couple of things to mention. One, the winner is whacked half the hurdles around.
It's just so well handicapped, yeah.
He is incredibly well handicapped. And I wonder, so all winter at Newbury, soft ground, you want to be prominent and come to this near side as well, which is what Sizable Sam and A Perfecto have done.
So they've ridden the perfect winter race, and
the other 3 have come down the other side and finished first, second.
The goalposts, they are changing in the National Hunt sphere then. And you know what will happen now. Actually, looking at the forecast, it's very risky game, hanging your hat on what the forecasters say. But, in Britain, Barry, there doesn't look like there's a lot of rain at all now, actually, in the lead up to Cheltenham whatsoever. I wonder if Southfield Harvest might just be a player, therefore, in the Potents. He's a nice horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he surely is. If that's where they go with him, he's obviously have a chance for sure. He's ran a nice race there. I think it's a race that it could be paid to. It could work out well. Be paying strong attention to it when horses are running from out of that race in subsequent races. But the winner's done it well, I suppose, at the finish, hasn't he? Cruel as it is for you to watch, he's won quite handsomely at the death.
Yeah, that's the game though, Barry, isn't it? We've been in it long enough to know that's exactly what happens. You jump off one, and indeed, they don't come off the cliff with you. So there you are. That was a lovely race to watch, and it's kicked us off. It's going to be a good afternoon ahead. I know it is. We've got to go to Market Rasen. Let's go to Lincolnshire because we've got a rearranged Sydney Banks Hurdle. Now, this is a really interesting race, this. My Drogo, but the owners of Sizable Sam was supposed to go here for Team Skelton for whatever reason. Maybe it's the ground. They haven't wanted to risk him here. This was won last year, Barry Orr, by Shishkin.
Yeah, it certainly was. And Manila Drama is your warm favourite this time around. 2.14, 4.3 Stonker's Choice. Here comes Johnny 5.48, Optimus Prime. And it's 1,000 fast deal. We saw that yesterday as well with a runner in the Elite Hurl in Wincanton, a horse at 1,000. But I'm going to take the favourite on here, Manila Drama. I'm not sure he wants to be stepping up to 2.5 miles. He's put for the first time. Traded at 33-1 on in the Supreme Novice Hurl Trial up in Haydock when he finished second. And I think at the price, I can get him at 2.20 at the moment. I think he's a lay all day at that price. So if I could just ask Magic Fingers there, 2.24 he is now. So we're going to take 50 quid at the backer stake. We're going to take the price as well. I don't want to be a price maker here because I think he might drift. So 2.22, 2.24. Yeah, happy to take 50 quid at the backer stake there.
He looks a bit skinny to my eyes, Barry, as well. He just seemed sure to win at Haydock, didn't he? And sort of pulled himself up on the run a little bit.
Traded at 33-1 on, you know, and he was only going one way, and then pulled himself up a little bit. They put the hood on him today. I'm not sure what I make of that, of them doing that. You know, I think there could be a question mark there with him, and I'm happy to take him on at that price.
He's the only one that's not entered at Cheltenham as well. But Donald McCain has got a nice horse for the Supreme called Bareback Jack, who's a bit of a flyer for that. So it'll be interesting to see how this chap goes. He's talented, but he does have the odd quirk. I'm against him as well. Here comes Johnny. Now, will you mind calling this?
Sure.
And this is going to be a commentator's dream, this horse, isn't it? You can just see him coming down to the last.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a really well-named horse, isn't it? I think. Here comes Johnny. And easier to say than A Perfecto.
Yes.
But I like him. Last time out winners dominate this race. Manila Drama has the second next to his name. To make of that what you will. He's got 3 last time out winners against him, though. Stoner's Choice, wasn't sure about him on the ground. He's the course winner. Here comes Johnny. I think he's got a bigger performance in him for Ollie Murphy and Aidan Coleman. Ross Brierley.
Yeah, I mean, it is open. I remember Barry laid Manila Drama when I was in here last time, and all the way down the home straight, we're thinking, oh, the money's done, and then
he did a Pentland Hills.
He did. He had a little bit of a think, a bit of a wander, and he was out battled. And yeah, I agree. He's got, in terms of speed figures, he's miles clear on every run, but of course, in running in completely different types of races.
Yeah.
So he has to go and then produce that here. The ground looks pretty soft at Market Rasen. I think if Stoner's Choice handles the ground, he's the best horse in this contest by, I think, a fairly comfortable margin. But if he doesn't handle the ground, then I think Optimised Prime also has a big chance. But Ben Pauling's got an excellent record in these listed and graded novice hurdles. The Cobb sprang a surprise for him at Donny a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Barter's Hill obviously had a fairly similar profile to Optimised Prime when he got into his.
He does like this chap. I know that. I spoke to him about this horse.
He's a really nice horse. He's the one who will definitely handle the ground. But I will just go with the class of Stoner's Choice.
Dave Bass will give you a little bit of confidence, wouldn't he? Is there anyone riding better this year than Dave Bass out there at the moment?
And so I think those. It is a fascinating race.
Are you Dutching? Putting them together, coupling?
I'm going. I'd say, 70% Stoner's Choice, 30% Optimised Prime, and split the stakes.
All right. Okay. TC.
Yeah, I like Stoner's Choice in this race as well. I agree with what the lads have said about Manila Drama. He had a tough race against Favois last time. The Hood goes on the step up and trip. I don't like that combination. Hood goes on is for a buzzy type. You don't want to be stepping him up and trip straight away. He's taking keen holds over 2 miles, and he's going to go out in front, and he could just do all of his energy in the first circuit. And at the price, look, he could easily win, but at the price, you don't want to be taking a horse like this on testing ground. I like Stoner's Choice. I think he's the play in the race. He's won his last 3 impressively. Obviously, Max Kendrick can't claim his £3. He won a race yesterday on Geoffroy, though, so Max Kendrick's riding well at the moment. Can't claim the £3, but hopefully that shouldn't be a problem. Fergal O'Brien's just saddled the winner at Newbury, so his yard's in good form. I don't really see many negatives about Stoner's Choice.
Took out a grade 2 at Haydock, didn't they, after we went off air? A horse called Al Philippe, I think. A big Phil, they call him in the yard. And this has had a winter break, I assume, on the ground. I looked at his breeding, actually. It's by a great pretender who gives you the hope. The damn side doesn't. So, again, we're going to find out a few answers there.
He's only 2 runs that were on soft or heavy ground were in very good races, both listed bumpers behind Israel Champ, who
so a bit like a brave man's game. You know, the horse that couldn't seemingly act on the ground, gets on decent ground. Exactly. We just don't know, do we? That might have been early in his career.
Yeah, it was. First 2 runs for Fergal O'Brien, so I'm willing to forgive him those 2 and hope that he goes on the ground.
It's almost going in reverse of what we just said about Newbury for Stoner's Choice, isn't it? It's his form is on good ground and going to soft. Yeah. Just a quick word on the favourite as well. Obviously, that form was given a boost by the 4th winning the graded mares hurdle.
Anything but love, anything for love.
Yeah, for Jamie Snowden.
Yeah.
I was in that. We were in that day, and I remember thinking the front 2 had a lovely run through the race, and those in behind, Llandonabo Lad and another horse whose name completely escapes me. I think it was Nada to Prada got in a bit of a battle and almost took each other out in the bend. Basically, the horses who were held up, it was a nightmare. So I wonder whether Manila Drama also was. I'm not going to say flattered by the form, but was certainly in the right position. So be interesting to see, like you said, step up in trip, Hood, lot of things that Manila Drama has to.
He came from a
massive
points
drifter
lead,
as well.
Is he a big drifter, Barry?
Yeah, he's out to 7-4 now, 278 now. Obviously, the money for Stoner's Choice 3-4-5, and here comes Johnny 4.4.
I wonder if that's
But
also...
yeah, big drifter. We got him at 5-4, and he's out to 7-4 now. We could cash out now for £9 profit.
I wonder if
Happy
that's also
days.
because he looks like, as they're lining up right now, he's going to be held up in behind Stoner's Choice and Optimised Prime, which obviously we haven't seen in recent starts. Maybe that's why there's a slight drift. Punters were expecting him to lead.
Thank you, TC. Right, it's the 205 at Market Rasen. Delighted to have two races from there this afternoon. Ross Brierley, going to call them home.
Absolutely, and they are lining up then here for this rearranged Sydney Banks, and off in front, somewhat unsurprisingly, is the Ben Paul and Jane Optimised Prime, but with Stoner's Choice just on the inside, not giving Optimised Prime too much rope to get on with things. In behind is the favourite Manila Drama. Then we've got Here Comes Johnny for Ollie Murphy in the same ownership as the aforementioned Sandown graded mare's winner. And then out the back is Fast Deal for Michael Chapman, who is hoping to pick up a bit of prize money if one of the others doesn't complete. But Optimised Prime out in front, and you can see he's been running on soft ground. That's a knee action and a half, isn't it? But he has got a fairly easy lead here now. He's settled into the front, but whether he's settled on that lead remains to be seen. But currently, if you're on Optimised Prime, you're thinking David Bass is going to get to do what he wants.
This is key, isn't it, when you're watching a race, especially for in-running punters, to see who's settling best. You could see, TC, exactly why that hood's gone on.
Yeah, definitely. But Melodrama settled a little bit better than I thought, to be honest. I don't know what price Melodrama is in running at the moment. I thought he'd be reefing for his head early.
Stoner's Choice settled lovely, isn't he? Just off the leader.
To be fair, they're all quite settled. There'll be no excuses for any at this stage.
Okay, so Market Rasen is one of these courses where they ascertain their positions early, steady it up slightly, get to 3 out and go, all right, come on, let's go.
Bomb down the straight.
Bomb down the straight, absolutely. So they're all bunched up, Roscoe, as they try to go out on the far side.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it is visually, it's always an entertaining track to watch Market Rasen, isn't it? Especially the camera angle into the home straight, and we've got plenty of running after that final hurdle as well. So Optimised Prime in front then for Manila Drama. Stoner's Choice just being niggled along, maybe to just keep on the heels of the leaders. Again, I wonder what Max Kendrick is thinking about that horse's ability to handle these conditions. But it looks like David Bass just slowed it up a bit there, as a few of them just started to pull for their head in behind. In particular, Here Comes Johnny. I think it looked like they just slowed down a little bit. So I wonder whether this is going to be a bit of a stop-start gallop. And if it is, then the Ben Pauling runner is in the right place. Barry, what's happened to Optimised Prime? Is he shortened because of that, or is he pretty much what he was before?
He had a Betfair SP at 7.6 and he's 8. He's trading at 7.8 now in running, so there hasn't been much movement in him. The favourite is the one that's come in really 2.38 now. Manila Drama, having gone off at 2.81 at a Betfair SP at 2.81. Like you said, he seems to have settled well. But I think the first 4 in the market and the first 4 in the races is developing all seem to be settled and gone well within themselves.
I'd be quite happy with my Here Comes Johnny. I think he's settled all right. We haven't mentioned Fast Deal as well, have we? For Michael Chapman, the rank outsider, he's out the back.
I think Ross hit the nail on the head with that one. If one of the others doesn't complete, he collects fourth place prize money.
Can we confidently add on a 0 to him then? Yes. Every time I do that, they go and make a complete mockery of what I've just said. And they're going out on the far side. We've got 5 left to jump. Now they're starting to turn in on a little bit. Actually, the front 2 are. He's not going to let Dave Bass have it all his own way, is he, Brian Hughes?
No, I think you're hoping if you're on Here Comes Johnny that those two do start racing from a long way out here. Because you're hoping to pick up the pieces. But still Optimised Prime out in front from Manila Drama, then Stoner's Choice, and in behind we have Here Comes Johnny and Outlast is Fast Deal. But again, everything apart from the rank outsider travelling with it itself, apart from maybe I can say Stoner's Choice maybe a little bit, but again he's been off for a while. He's probably just having to be woken up as well on this different kind of ground, but he is very strong at the finish of his races. So it will be interesting to see how much he finds. But pretty much a steady speed throughout here, I think, on Optimised Prime. But yeah, every single one of these runners has a chance here, I'd say.
They flattened that hurdle as well, didn't they? It was almost like it was a polite flattening of it. But Optimised Prime is going to have to warm it up. I don't know, the head carriage from another drive for me. Oh dear, here comes Johnny. Sadly, he's gone wrong there. It's been a weekend of some sad stories, unfortunately. Here comes Johnny. That's a leg injury for him. He's out of the third last.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
64 on.
But this is the question. You would expect the favourite to travel the best out of these because he's the one who has to prove his stamina. So Optimised Prime back in second is Manila Drama, who's travelling well. Stoner's Choice just being niggled at, but again he did stay on very strongly to win at Market Rasen last time out, and so far Fast Deal is being scrubbed along in fourth, as you would expect. But Optimised Prime, Manila Drama, Stoner's Choice, this is where the stamina question comes into play for Manila Drama. Has that hood settled him enough to get home over this extra trip?
2's on.
He has gone odds on, long odds on then. But again, it is that stamina thing, isn't it?
Stoner's Choice not out of this, is he?
This is the
he's
thing.
184 now. He's a battle on his hands here.
Max brought him out though. Get him out from behind.
I'd say Optimus Prime not totally done with either. 2 out then, and Stoner's Choice wasn't that clever there.
Yes, Optimised Prime still in front there. Manila Drama behind those. Manila Drama now goes through the gears and kicks on from Optimised Prime. Stoner's Choice is just being asked the question, but he is answering that question, and none of them jumped that hurdle particularly well. Manila Drama, will he throw the race away again? Will Stoner's Choice outstay him, or has Manila Drama got this race won? Manila Drama then with the hood on for the first time. Stoner's Choice is back in second, trying to do his level best. Optimised Prime left behind, but Manila Drama here has had a very different proposition to what he did at Haydock last time out, and the step up in trip, as anything, has helped.
Yes, absolutely. We were a bit disparaging, slightly worried about the trip, slightly worried about the hood. How's he going to settle in a small field race? Hats off to Connections. They knew Green Day Racing and Donald McCain. They got it right. And I think compensation, we can say, can't we, for the Grade 2 loss up at Market up at Haydock last time. So that was Market Rasen, then Class Horse wins race.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he settled in running, Barry, I think, said he came in from 2.8 to 2.34 or something, and that was kind of the factor. If he settled, then he was the horse to beat on ratings, and he settled beautifully. Brian Hughes gave him a great ride. I think Stoner's Choice was wheel spinning a bit on the ground. I was surprised that Max Kendrick didn't bring him out.
I couldn't say he didn't handle it because he had a chance coming to the last, but I think optimal ground probably.
Yeah, and he down the back he took a couple of false steps as well. I mean, I wouldn't have stuck to the rail if I was Max Kendrick, but the horse wasn't the best on the day, wouldn't have won anyway. Just for a better chance of getting quicker ground, would have brought him wide. Not
in at Cheltenham then in the Sydney Bank, so we won't see a repeat of Shishkin. But I tell you what, that bareback Jack, the more I look at him, shrewd punter I know put me onto him. He beat Third Time Lucky. Do you remember when we were in? And Third Time Lucky, not far off in Violin in the champion hurdle, in the champion bumper. Sorry, I don't know. He's an interesting horse. Donald McCain is getting some decent young stock again, having gone to a couple of years in not quite the wilderness, but he certainly lost a lot of patronage, didn't he?
Well, I mean, you think of your Cinders and Ashes and your Pedalers Crosses and your Overturns, and it seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
That was a lovely roll call you just gave there. It came straight off the tongue, didn't it?
Well, it's because it has been a fair old whack between them. There's not many since then.
Yeah.
To try and recall, but yeah, they were setting Donald McCain up for almost challenging for sort of top 3, 4, 5 trainers at one point. You thought surely he's going to keep getting better horses from the Leslies, for example, but.
The Leslies own a bareback Jack, and it's a sort of race, isn't it? The Supreme at the moment with Appreciate. Let us know what you think. I am an Appreciate It fan, but there is huge potential for one to be a price-wise on the day collapse. There's a lot of the market's got to give somewhere.
Yeah, I think Appreciate It's definitely worth taking on at the prices for sure right now. I mean,
what with though, T?
Exactly, that is the issue because there are plenty that have form, just not as good as the favourite, and they're all kind of similar standard, but Appreciate It he's not a 2-miler. He's just the best in that division at the moment.
He's unbeaten bareback Jack, right? He's still green, and Manila Drama's just taken out of the Sydney Banks. I'd wager he's ahead of Manila Drama at home.
You think so? Yeah.
They've got a horse called Dreams of Hope as well. Dreams of Home, isn't it? I think the one at Carlisle last week. He looks like an absolute machine to me. It's good to see that powerful operation coming back.
Well, and Navajo Pass, yeah, of course. So you've got a nice. You've got a nice group of hurdlers actually to test.
He could be quite interesting in a county or something, couldn't he? Something like that.
Yeah. I did a couple of stable tours with Donald McCain in recent seasons, not this year's one, but before that. And every time I've done them, he's brought up a name or two that he's really excited about, and those horses just haven't managed to fulfill their potential. Like Finnisk River was one that was given, and there were a couple of others. So it seems like McCain's getting a good lot of stock from the point field. They just haven't lived up to the standard in recent seasons, but this year he seems to have better. 2
horses to note. Bareback Jack, I think he'll run a race if he goes to Cheltenham.
And just a quick word as well, of course, we if you are going to have a bet in the Supreme, it might be, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Betfair Sportsbook's non-runner no bet, isn't it, at the moment, Barry?
Yeah, they have been, since January.
Yeah, so you've got, if you wanted to take a bareback jack or, I don't know, a Soaring
20 to
Glory
1.
or a Cad's Hand or something like that. And
Something might come out of the race today, Something could come out of the Betfair Hurl today and put its hand up for the Supreme Novices Hurl. I think Ballyadam, at 7 to 1. He's a horse that obviously the race run in Leopardstown behind. Appreciate it was too bad to be true. It was more his true running last day. And he's going to come on for that run as well. So I don't think he'll be 8 or 10 to 1 on the day.
I don't see how he can beat Appreciate though. I just don't see it.
I think the bet, each way bet at this stage, and I've thought this since the Dublin Racing Festival, is Ganapathy. I know second or third string for Mullins, so Appreciate is obviously higher up the ranks. But he really caught my eye at Leopardstown behind Gerard de Menil, and he's going to drop back to 2 miles for the Supreme. I think about 25
in the
to
Donnelly
1.
colours,
Yes.
the Shishkin colours.
They don't have bad horses.
You go back a long time. You go back 10, 15 years ago. Mullins took out the Supreme with a 50 to 1 shot.
Yeah.
So it's
Eberzion.
There you go. Ross Brierley. That's why you're here. Isn't it? Let's get some socials onto the screen on this lovely Sunday that we got. And Aleem CH comes on. Supreme is a weak race. Appreciate it. By far the best horse. 2 to 1 is a gift. Lack of opposition. It's like we've got a lot of clear favourites, Barry, haven't we? Lack of opposition. I think we can still say that to Envoy Allen. Yes, Shishkin's got a rival now that's made him a prize, but you've got Monkfish as well.
Yeah, it's diluting of the card, isn't it? As we progress through the years, that's going to happen more and more with the cards being diluted like that. And if there's an additional day, it's going to happen even further. So that's what happens when you go from 3 to 4 days.
It won't be long until the handicap entries are out, though, and all of a sudden the anti-post betting will be alive. Let's talk about the Denman chase, though, coming up. Talking about mighty horses, and we've got a really good horse at the top of the market here. I am surprised he's odds against Barry or Clandazobo.
Yeah, I think he's a cracking price at 2.30. Like, he's a dual King George winner. This is his Gold Cup ahead of Aintree. We know he's not going to Cheltenham. It doesn't come into the equation for them this year. He's straight to Aintree from here. So no stone unturned down in Ditchy to make sure he's bang on for this. At 2.30, I think it's a very fair price. Kalashnikov has yet to show it over fences in Grade 1 company, in open company, lost in translation. Too many question marks about him. Cepage has been the springer in the race, was as big as 28. Decent money matched at 14 all the way down to 9.4. And I'm not keen on anything else in the race. Obviously, it's still 3 places and place terms on the Betfair Exchange here, even with Dashel Drasher coming out. So that stays at the same traditional place terms, even with him being a non-runner from dead 8 down to 7. So just going to have a straightforward 50 quid on Clandazobo here. I'm happy to take 2.30 because I think there could be money for him. I think there could be substantial money for him as well. So 50 quid at 2.30, or I'd even chase it down to 2.8 now if we have to, and leave it at that. We should get mash around that price.
Thank you very much, Barry Orr. We've got Lee Motter's head for us at Newbury today. Anything seismic, we'll be able to go to Lee. I think, as I was talking to Rob Lee, our senior producer, when might we go to Lee if we could do it? The one horse that, if he won this, would be lost in translation, would be like a Goshen, wouldn't it? So we'll get a word on that. Just before we get some picks from the panellists, I've said that I think Clandazobo will win. 2 from 2 at Newbury. Love the ground. Absolutely. You can't paint him with the Cyrname brush. Amazing how punters tend to do that. First race, Gower Road, Sam Tristan Davis, nice horse, beat good bull, could go for the Supreme. Ground definitely quickening up. Polish, however you read it. Paddy Brennan not happy at any stage, so it's all about the ground. He will now not run before he goes to Aintree. So we're talking about spring horses. I think Clan's one of these horses. He won this, of course, when it was rearranged at Ascot 2 years ago. If you go back to his novice chase win here a couple of seasons ago, breathtaking.
That was when he announced himself as the horse that everyone, there's the talk that what he could be, and that was the race where you thought, oh, okay, here we go. We've actually got a tool to go to war with a bit here. And he ran, everything went wrong for him at Kempton. I cannot believe he finished third, if I'm honest, given how unsighted he was.
The only one to get involved from off the pace, wasn't he?
He jumped poorly. He got in the in bad positions at every single fence. He ran a remarkable race. I think he's by far the one to beat here. But given the shape of the race, we've got not only a 3-place market in the place terms, but also a 4-place market. And Secret Investor, just over 2 to 1 for 3 places.
The stablemate. Second in the race last year.
Exactly, second in the race last year. We're talking about ground. This horse is a good ground horse, a spring ground horse. Never really got into the reckoning behind Cloth Cap in the big handicap here.
He went off a short price as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Well, because that Chepstow run was remarkable, and the speed figure for that really wasn't that far off genuine graded potential.
Do you think he's going to make the running?
I think that's also a big plus for him. So he's going to be up there, and he will like the ground, he will like the track, he will jump, and he will stay. So I think Secret Investor, just above even money to finish in the 4. I don't think it's a bad bet.
Lovely. Okay, so Team Nichols for myself and Ross Brierley, not necessarily in the right order, but yeah, a Secret Investor. I can see him running well. TC.
I respect Clanders Oboe, and he's by far the most likely winner. But, today I felt like I wanted to take on the favourites. And although he's, as I said, the most likely winner, I thought there were cases to be made for both Kalashnikov and Lost in Translation. I've gone with Lost in Translation at the prices. Kalashnikov's been heavily supported this morning. He obviously won the Betfair Hurdle back in 2018 on this card, albeit not this week. And he's got good form at Newbury in general. And he returned to form last time behind Mr. Fisher. So I can certainly see the case for Kalashnikov.
I think Mr. Fisher backers will be hoping for a good run.
Definitely.
He's been put up by a lot of tips, myself included, for the Ryanair in a muddling Ryanair race, and you'll be hoping to see a good one here. The breeding is interesting because it's not obvious, but Paul Murphy, his owner, one of the great national breeders of our time, they've probably been waiting to step this guy up, I would wager.
Yeah, definitely. He's a weird horse, isn't he? Because when you watch him in the run, you're never really too confident because he gets low at his fences and he seems to take a little bit of riding. But he's a really talented horse on his day, and I certainly wouldn't be writing him off in here, although he has got weight to find on ratings with Clanders Oboe and Lost in Translation. I've sided with Lost in Translation purely on the fact that I think he's going to bounce back.
You're about the only one out there, TC.
I know. He needs to bounce back. This horse has so much ability. Like he on natural ability, on his day, is the best horse in this race, in my opinion. Now he hasn't really performed his last twice. The last time he performed to his best was when he was third behind Albion Photo in the Gold Cup. But he's had another wind up. Now the last time he had a wind up was just before the Gold Cup when he finished third. This time he's had a wind up. He's back on better ground, back at a track that I think he will handle pretty well, Newbury. He's got form behind Le Bagawa at Newbury in the past. I just think he's worth a play at the prices, around 13-2. Now he could easily bomb out. And that's a large probability that he might bomb out because he has done so many times in recent runs. But I just thought that he's the value play in a race where, yes, Clanders Oboe is probably going to win, but he's had 2 tough races this year. Things didn't go right last time, as Ross said, but before that, behind Bristol de Mai, he had a tough race.
Form at Kempton, PP. Form at Newbury, 2-1, 2-3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. I mean,
wow.
They're your reasons.
Thank you, TC. No Dash or Drasher in this then. That makes the 7 runners. Barry, just before they're jumping off, they're looking like they're ambling to come out on the course. What price now, the Clan?
Yeah, he's steady still at 2.30, 4.8 Kalashnikov, 8.8 Lost in Translation, 9.4 Sepage, and it's 18 bar.
Thank you very much, Barry. Okay, I'll tell you what, a wash with Sweat Sapage, isn't he? He was one of the price crashers in the race, wasn't he? Because Tom Sakal, price-wise, just put him up. Course winner as well. Came back to form last time. So he's that would put you off a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
He actually looks like he's having a shower.
He does look absolutely. He's gone through the car wash, hasn't he? But yeah, Venetia Williams has got 2 chances where the market has reacted very strongly today in those graded races. This is just one of those. It's just one of those weird races where you can kind of, a bit like the 2 miler coming up in a bit as well, where you're looking at it and thinking a lot of these horses are going out there to answer some questions. And it could kind of go either way. Goshen yesterday was a similar one. You've got a couple of horses. Is Song for Someone good enough to win a champion hurdle? Has Goshen gone? That kind of thing. A race like this, is Sapage good enough? The conditional, you get the feeling connections are like just testing the water, whether they can really go for a crack at a big race. And Kalashnikov, you were saying about stepping up in trip, but I always worry about horses that wait this long to do that.
The other thing about Kalashnikov, it reminds me a bit of St Calvados, of Harry Whittington's. Where are the 2 mile 4 races to prep for the Ryanair? It's an intermediate trip. Ryanair, not an afterthought of the Cheltenham Festival, but it's not, one of the lesser established races in the history of the festival. Maybe there is an argument for some more 2 mile 4 races,
It's a good point, actually, because you've got, we say that there's, for example...
there was the Ascot Chase yesterday, but on that ground, you're just not going to get trainers turning up there.
But it ties into the wider argument about retooling the jump season in the sense that the races that have been in there since time immemorial they have those run-up every month you've got a trial, you've got something to go for. The newer races, you start to look at it and you go, well, where do we prep for these?
Handicap company, isn't
Well,
it?
that'd be
Get
nice.
them in
wouldn't it?
handicaps. Take a leaf out of Venetia's book. It can be done. Royal Picard, of course. Peter Marsh going for the Gold Cup. So the flag is up for the Denman Chase. Yes, it's Sunday. Yes, it's a Denman Chase here on RP Live. Cannot wait the 225. Good luck wherever you are playing. Keep your social questions coming in. Like to hear from the viewers. We love to see it. Get them in, we'll give you a shout. We'll be going to the Boyne Hurdle at Navan after this. Tiger Roll comes back now. We must go back to Newbury because Secret Investor has jumped up with Bryony Frost. We know what she likes to do. Get out, keep it simple. Terrafor coming back from a layoff longer than you can possibly read, I think, all the days there. 710, is it? Something like that. He's on the outside. Clan des Obeaux. And those famous colours sitting quite nicely, carrying his head beautifully at the moment. Nice, enthusiastic. Cepage is up there as well. The conditional on the inside. Kalashnikov being ridden for stamina conservations. And Lost in Translation advising from rear as well. All over the second, Ross Brierley.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy again. This is how I thought it might set up. So hopefully Secret Investor will keep jumping and staying, as we saw in a similar vein in the race where he didn't perform. Cloth Cap did exactly this and made all the running. So Secret Investor's got a nice position out in front. Lost in Translation, I thought, was maybe a little bit rusty at that jump. Everyone else was fine with it, so it'll be interesting to see how he warms into the task. But this is the setup pretty much exactly as we were expecting them.
Yeah, TC, let's bring you in, a Lost in Translation fan and Kalashnikov fan, both observing from rear.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing at all in this race, and Kalashnikov especially is jumping really well. I would love to see Terrafor. No, I don't think Terrafor is going to win or feature in the finish, but I would love to see him run well after this long layoff. Apparently, he lost an eye.
Yes.
In the interim.
The one-eyed Terrafor. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And Simon Manier and Isaac Swade had a terrible day with Lummy Surge yesterday, so I would love to see Terrafor return with a good run.
Absolutely, yeah. Colours that deserve a big boost. Poor old Lummy Surge. Ran his final race at Ascot yesterday. So we're in the home straight for the first time, and a nice even gallop being set, as Ross Brierley said, by Secret Investor. Ping goes he. Clan des Obeaux, let's have a word on him. How's he going? Nice and enthusiastic, just sitting in midfield, TC.
Yeah, he's travelling very nicely in the hands of Harry Cobden. He's in behind Cepage, who hasn't been jumping overly well, and now he's just moved behind Terrafor there, who's also not been jumping overly well. So I'd just be wary if I was Harry Cobden not to get right behind them too. That was
really well advertised, as you were saying that, actually. So we're passing the winning post for the first time. The conditional, placed in Ladbrokes Trophy, of course, he's on the inside. A horse that is talented enough to have a say on his day as they just concertina slightly. I'm keeping looking at Lost in Translation here, guys, as we come to approach, not quite the water jump yet, is it? He's warming up now, I think. He's right upside Clan des Obeaux.
He is. He's travelling with a lot of enthusiasm, isn't he, by the looks of things? And of course, I just got a flashback of the Gold Cup last year where you kind of looked at Lost in Translation coming into the home straight and you're thinking, crikey, this horse is going very, very well indeed. Kalashnikov's the one who doesn't seem to have warmed into it so far.
He was jumping well early, TC, wasn't he? And the water jump, it can be a slightly tricky at Newbury. He didn't attack it with relish.
Yeah, he often gets behind the bridle though, Kalashnikov. I wouldn't be too worried about him. This is how he kind of runs every time. He seems like he's in trouble and then he just finds the bridle again.
Looks like the conditional is just finding, he's lost his action there. The conditional quickly being pulled up by, of course, it was Brendan Powell back in the plate there. That didn't look good. I have to say. We'll wait for a postscript on that. But Barry Orr, they're now starting to rev it up, Barry. What's the market saying? Some big players, they're waiting in the wings.
Yeah, they're all bang there, aren't they? The favourite is 2.24 now. Went to 2.50, 6-4 when they jumped off. I don't know why. 6.2 Kalashnikov. Lost in Translation is 6.2. Cepage 10.5. 10 Secret Investor now from a Betfair SP of 18. But favourite, they're all still bang there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are indeed. And isn't it wonderful to see these good horses on good ground at Newbury winging these fences? They're all attacking them thus far. So the order is still Secret Investor going absolutely fine on the inside. Kalashnikov now starting to take closer order. Terrafor says absolutely, come on, I'm going to make you go as well. I tell you what a ride he's been so far for Daryl Jacob. Now Clan des Obeaux starts to inch slightly closer on Harry Cobden and covered all the time by Lost in Translation. Cepage, we'll see what he's made of in just a second. Ross Brierley, they're going round the corner. It will soon be the famous cross fence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big question here is are the horses who are swinging away with the ability and the stamina going to perform? Lost in Translation is the big one because he keeps catching the eye, but I wonder how much he's
going a bit too well, TC.
Yeah, I get worried about this with Lost in Translation because we have seen him travel very well in the past and then not pick up. But at this stage, he's going very nicely. If I was on Kalashnikov, I'd be reasonably confident right now because he's close to the pace. We know he's going to pick up, and he's jumping a lot better down the back.
He's being ridding as if he's going to stay. Here is the famous cross fence, one of the greatest sights in racing. Clanderzobo absolutely soars over it. Now the returning Terrafor backs out of it. He's taken a good blow. Maybe Aintree for him. Sepage starting to feel the pinch. He must have gone out to a million Barrier as they're turning in.
Yeah, he's out to 40 Sepage now. Your favourite is Clanderzobo 216, 4.7 Kalashnikov, and 5.6 Secret Investor.
We'll see just exactly what he left in the King George now, because Harry Cobden is saying, come on, Kalashnikov, let's go. Robbie Power on his outside. Kalashnikov on the inside wasn't great there. Lost in translation. Will they fight it out? The two old rivals, Clanderzobo and Lost in translation. Clanderzobo, he's absolutely swinging. Secret Investor goes to the inside. He's got his measure. What will Lost in translation have? Robbie Power stoking him up. He still looks confident, Robbie Power. So here we come then to the second last.
Evans Lost in translation.
Evans Lost in translation. They're flippy floppies as we go. Clanderzobo goes across. Secret Investor's not coming out without a fight.
Go on.
Oh my goodness, Lost in translation, taking a blow. Ross Brierley, can you possibly see off the favourite here? He's just shaking the reins. Secret Investor, Bryony Frost. This could be huge, all on the last jump. Over goes Secret Investor. Clanderzobo was brilliant though. Now Harry Cobden goes for everything. The favourite range is up on the run-in. This is class. Nichols 1-2 it will be. Secret Investor on the inside. Clanderzobo trying absolutely everything. Harry Cobden, will he get there? This is going to be on the line. Bryony Frost pulls out a little bit more. Clanderzobo, Secret Investor takes it. Unbelievable scenes. Ross Brierley, he knew. You don't often see him that animated.
That's a race. That was a race.
You're short of words there, Roscoe. My goodness, let's go to Barry Orr then. How low did Clanderzobo go?
1.22 he hit, so 2 to 9 Clanderzobo. What a good old buckle that was between the two of them. That's the best of horse racing, wasn't it? From the same yard as well. A high of 22 for the winner, Secret Investor. I think that was pre-race. It wasn't during the race, that's for sure. A couple of other notable in-running lows. 3.05 for Kalashnikov, and Lost in translation hit a low of Evans. He might have burst a blood vessel again. He stopped very, very quickly indeed. But yeah, the best of National Hunt racing we've seen there. What a great spectacle.
Absolutely unbelievable. And Clanderzobo, you know, he has run, he's given everything, hasn't he? You can't knock him at all. He winged the last.
I mean, Clanderzobo when they get back to the stable, must be looking at Bryony Frost like, again, every time I turn up, you do exactly the same thing. I mean, Bryony, it's Frodon Mark 2, isn't it? She's ridden the track, she's ridden the race, she's jumped with fluency for the vast majority of the way around, and she's asked the other horses to come and get her, and if anything, just haven't got near her.
If anything, Clan's slightly forcing her to the inside, slightly, almost dwarfing Secret Investor there. But she does just get them popping away, doesn't she? £6 probably, but it's been the case. But look, if you're the handicapper out there, you're pretty satisfied. Official rating of 169. For Clanderzobo. A lot of people thinking, Secret Investor at 162, I don't like that. There's £6 between them, so that theoretically means £3 either way, isn't it? So it's pretty much to form. Kalashnikov, TC, a word on him. He's given his all, hasn't he? And I would see that as a boost for the Peterborough chase, Mr. Fisher. He just hasn't quite seen it out like the first two.
I'm not. I mean, I thought he stayed pretty well. He just got outpaced by the two Nichols horses. I think that's a huge win for Bryony because I think she's been riding with no confidence recently. I've watched her the last few days, and
there's a lot going on there at the minute for Bryony, isn't there?
Exactly.
There's a BHA.
Yeah, there are reasons
inquiry
why.
Under why.
Yeah, she hasn't had her usual verb, especially yesterday. She hit the deck on La Chameleon. She lost on a couple of odds-on shots, and before at Fakenham, she wasn't really riding with her usual style. But that is a real confidence booster for Bryony. We all know she's a great jockey, and she just gave Secret Investor one of the best rides we'll see today. It
doesn't mean a great deal for Cheltenham, does it, at a festival? So let's concentrate in this, in its own right. This also, we're just watching 3 out there. He wasn't great there either, was he? She's had to pick him back up. Or the last. Clanderzobo, I felt sure would go by.
Well, he might. I mean, it doesn't mean much for Cheltenham. Negatively, it means you've got to start worrying whether Lost in Translation is going to turn up. But no. I think this will have a big effect on Aintree, though. I mean, a bowl, Secret Investor. And I think, I was just thinking after that race that apart from the Gold Cup, every single 3-mile top-class race throughout the rest of the season really suits sort of bold jumping front runners. And
who wins the Gold Cup?
I mean, it looks a weaker race than last year, so I think Albin Photo should be about 7 or 4 by now. Everything else is dropping away.
Yeah, he was the nap of the festival for me last year, without patting myself on the back too much.
No, I remember sitting next to you as you hit the ceiling.
2 Gold Cups was the cry. I am going to take him on. And I think Rachel Blackmore might
Happy
become
Tart.
the woman
Yeah.
rider that we want. And the reason why I'm saying that is because are we totally discounting Frodon?
No, well, yeah, we shouldn't be, should we?
We can't be, can we?
I'm not going to discount
I
him,
did a
but don't think he's
preview
good
in the
enough.
Racing Post preview, which comes out next week. Paul Keeley's done a profile in this year, every horse running. I did lots of the analysis for that and your chases, and I wanted to call him the dark horse for the Gold Cup. Of course, I had to go for Royal Pagaille with that. But he, despite the fact he's a King George winner, despite the fact he's got his best ever level when winning that handicap earlier in the season at Cheltenham, I don't know, he's a Ryanair winner.
Can you imagine if Bryony Frost wins the King George, the Tenman Chase and the Gold Cup? It's not a bad season,
It's
is it?
whopping for racing as well. We know that
Yeah.
the mainstream like that.
Yeah.
Could we see Rachel Blackmore and Bryony Frost fighting it out? That would be something, wouldn't it?
It would indeed.
Yeah, and what do you think? Are we talking cobblers? Are we talking tosh? Or indeed will there be two lady riders fighting it out from the last? I'm thinking Aplutar. The more I did those previews, I was looking at it. Very hard to keep out the frame. First time tongue tie, wasn't it, last time in the Savills? Who wins the Gold Cup, Barry Hall?
I thought it was a moderate enough renewal, Dave, and I was liking Album Photo again. And as an outsider, at about 16 or 20 to 1, I'd be willing to forgive Manila Indo so far. So he'd be my outside pick in the race. And Album Photo, I think, is rock solid at the head of the market. It's worked for the last 2 years for them, what they've done. And he's the reigning Gold Cup. And I think he'd probably take a bit of beating in it again, if the truth be told.
Yeah. Do you know, we've actually rated him higher than his last Gold Cup win for that Tremor win.
That's rubbish.
On Racing Post Racing.
I'm not having that at all. But,
Well, it's more. We haven't rated him as high as his first Gold Cup win, TC, for that Tremor race. But if you look at Racing Post Racing, it's actually higher than
I don't think that Tremor run was impressive at all. Like, not even one bit. I think the race completely
the
fell apart.
handicapper thinks it was a better performance than he
Hey,
puts
look,
up when winning what was a messy Gold Cup.
He probably knows more than me, but I wouldn't be rating him higher than the Gold Cup
Picking
winner.
a fight with the with the handicapper is TC. Happy days. Let's get some socials then before we go to Navan for the Boyne. And Matty Draycott comes back on. Album Photo is the nap of the meeting this year too, Dave. Okay, fair enough. Keep the faith. Listen, he's the only one who doesn't have anything to prove, isn't he? And the last one coming from Gordon Mathers. Good to have you on, Gordon. Album Photo, of course, going for 3 Gold Cups and racing immortality.
How many favourites are going to win this year?
What, Cheltenham?
Yeah.
That's top of my head. That's
27.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, well, this favourite's going to win because there's no competition. But some of them are going to get beat. Surely, like
That's why I'm really looking forward to the handicaps, getting their weights, because that's when we'll start to see some googlies coming in. Two mention of googlies on the show.
You say about the googlies, but actually last couple of years, the well-backed handicappers have probably performed better than the odds-on shots in the grade.
Totally
races.
ruling off Aplutard. Right, if you look
I
at what's
like
back that
Aplutard.
Ryanair, it's pace. It's just been waiting to happen.
I think
hasn't
he's
it?
got a great chance. Yeah, Plutard, definitely.
First time tongue tie.
Yeah.
It was, okay. And she's going to ride Aplutard, Barry, isn't she, Rachel Blackmore?
The betting would suggest she's going to, all right, yeah. I don't see what Manila Indo has done that would suggest she's going to ride that, not so far this season anyway. So, yeah, Plutard, I'd be surprised if she didn't.
What a surprising season. It looked all for the love of money, didn't she? Like she'd be on Manila Indo, and that would be the horse that we hoped might be the first lady rider of a Gold Cup. Well, now we've got 2 solid chances. Okay. No love for Frodon out there. I'm surprised about that. We'll get some quotes from Lee Mottershead about Secret Investor and Clan de Zobo and what the riders thought about that tussle coming to you. But we must go to Navan. Delighted to say it's the 2 mile 5 grade 2. It is the Boyne Hurdle. And look who's back. It's the Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger Rowe's back for sure. He's 17.5 though, although he's a big price winner of this race a couple of years back. Some notable non-runners here. Most recently, French Dynamite. They've just taken that one out of Rachel Blackmore. That was the horse I was fancying in the race, actually. So we're down to just the 6 runners now. But your market headed by Fury Road, just ahead of Beacon Edge. 2.56 and 2.92 respectively. 8.2 Durasso. There's been plenty of money for Durasso. Can't be deep enough for him, and it looks like he's getting his ground conditions, and it's 17 bar. But like I said, Dave, the horse I was going to back in it was French Dynamite, and they've taken him out, so it's a no play.
Fair enough. Yeah, we don't have to play in every race, do we? At all. So, OK, we need some help from down the panel then. And you're not going to help us much here, Roscoe, are you? Absolute high to a non-runner as well.
Perfect, really, actually.
It's just what you need, a breather.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than backing a decent price winner only to come down to earth on the very next race. But yeah, there's loads of interesting angles in this race. Slightly less so now, but Fury Road, obviously, that Monkfish, Time Hill, latest exhibition form in the Albert Bartlett last year looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and Gordie's horses were a little bit flat, weren't they, over Christmas?
Definitely.
So you've got a big... Fury Road is he's a genuine... I mean, talked to Paul Keeley last week and he said that, this horse is the overpriced horse for the Stayers Hurdle. If he wins this
on the Albert Bartlett, he is, yeah. And he was expected to beat Flooring Porter, wasn't he, in a funny sort of race. Are you with Fury Road?
Yeah, I'm with Fury Road. I think he's definitely the one to beat in here. If you look on ratings, then Beacon Edge is the one to beat, rated £3 higher. But that run in the Albert Bartlett, first behind Monkfish, brilliant horse. Latest exhibition, second, very good horse. Fourth was Time Hill, brilliant horse. They were clear of the rest. On that form, he's a cinch in this race. He would win easily. He came back, punched down and won really well over this trip around this distance. And then last time, as you say, the Elliott team just weren't firing over Christmas behind Flooring Porter, who's a very good horse in his own right. I just think he's the best horse in this race. And yes, he may be better over 3 miles, but I wouldn't be surprised if he bounced back with a win.
It was the 3 mile edge that put me onto Beacon Edge, and the fact he's getting £2 Beacon Edge as well. And he had a bit of colic, didn't he? Noel Meade said in your members club, if you're watching that in the paper, in your essential quotes this morning. And they just thought he might come on for that last one. If he comes back to that honeysuckle form, I'll tell you what, over this trip, he will go very close indeed. Six Shooter's also out. I thought he was interesting. If he hadn't run in the Galmoy last time, Six Shooter would have been my pick. That was a hard race. He's out as well. Let's go to Tiger Roll then. 25-1. When he took this out 2 years ago on the bridle and then went to Cheltenham and won by 3 tracks, never mind half the track. What do we make of the great Tiger?
Well, he's not a bad horse, is he? He's all right. What do we make of him today or in general?
Today.
I'd be surprised, but then he
what
just
do we
tends
need
to spring
to see
surprises.
from Tiger today?
We need to see him complete mainly, don't we? I think that's the big thing for him. We need to
He's
see
won
him.
twice in November, both stinkers.
Yeah.
Last time, of course, that's when we saw him at Cheltenham.
But we're talking about the yards form. We're talking about horses completely, winter horses now becoming spring horses. Tiger Roll is a spring horse. He is the very epitome of a spring horse. He's your Cheltenham Festival horse. He's an Aintree horse. So he is. This is his time of year. So it wouldn't massively surprise to see him spring a bit of a surprise here. I mean, given the way the race has now turned into, and there's been a bit of money for him, and bearing in mind with what we've just seen over at Newbury as well, I thought Decor Irlandais, rated 146, carrying 11 stone 5, up against Fury Road, rated 151, carrying 11 stone 10. We've just seen, weights and measures and handicappers taking on graded horses. Fury Road's what, 7-4? Decor Irlandais 20-1.
So he's got some class about him, hasn't he? You'd imagine that they're looking at, Cheltenham for him. He's a strong travelling horse. Yeah, it looks like 146 would get you into something quite nice.
Well, Coral Cup.
Haven't seen him since Killarney.
He's best behind a fast pace as well, Decor Irlandais. Held up last off a fast pace. That's his want.
So you do think this is going to be
he'll need the run.
running on into third or fourth?
Exactly that.
Here we go. Mention of the handicaps. And let's go back to Barry then. 6-4 the pair I can see, Barry. Beacon and Fury Road. This was one for Giggins down the punters.
Well, the graphs, if you look at the graphs on the Betfair Exchange beside the names of the horses, one's going up and one's going down. So the one coming down has been Beacon Edge from around the 9-2 mark into 13-8 now, 2.64. And Fury Road's gone the other way, even money out to 15-8 now, 2.84. So out of the two Jigginstown horses, Beacon Edge is the one they want to be on. The rest so strong at 8-16, Tiger Roll, and it's 20 bars. Scarpetta, has had its issues with injury, but was a very, very good novice at one stage for Willie Mullins. The market suggests he'll need the run, and the market also suggesting that Decor Irlandais at 20-1 will also need the run.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, so the Gigginstown, they've pulled one out, but they've still got 3 massive players in here. Let's have a look at what Gordon Elliott said then in the paper this morning. This was Gordon's comments about Tiger Roll, as he goes back to try and win another Boyne Hurdle. Tiger Roll is flying. He's absolutely flying. He's just a different horse now to this time of year. It was well documented he had a setback. It was all a bit of a rush to get him to Cheltenham. That was when we saw him pull up, of course, in November. He's back to his old self on the gallops now and is bouncing again. We scored him over cross-country fences a couple of times last week. The only concern would be heavy ground at Navan. but we couldn't be happy with him going there. Hopefully he can put in a good performance and all systems go for Cheltenham. The third national is starting to become on again, isn't it? A lot of people thought he wouldn't see the track again. Michael O'Leary doing his usual smoke and daggers for the handicapper, hoping for a mark in the 150s.
No chance.
166 is perfectly fair, isn't it, on the way you won it last year?
I thought he'd get 167. We did a jury 2 days before. I think the weights came out. I thought he'd get 167 or 168. I think 166 is perfectly fair enough.
Pound off top weight, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fair enough. I don't think he's going to win a third one. I'd love him to, but I don't think he will.
All this for a pound of flesh, eh? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The lengths these people go to. But no, weights and measures, it does count. So look, let's hope we see a great performance from the yellow cap. I'll let Ross Brierley know, of Tiger Roll. Durasso, who Barry mentioned, classy horse on his day. He will love the ground, won't he? He's just been one of those, and he hasn't quite gone on with it, Durasso, and he fences hurdles.
Yeah, he had a big reputation, didn't he, to start his career, and he just hasn't really lived up to that potential. This Beacon Edge has got to be probably the best backed horse of the day, hasn't it? Opened at 8-1 on Friday.
Would that be the best backed horse so far today, Barry Orr, according to TC?
Yeah, in Ireland, yeah, it looks like it. He was 9-2, 7-2 on the exchange this morning. He came in. Obviously, you have Rule 4s there as well with 2 non-runners in the race, so you have to take that into account.
I guess you got the second and third favourite out as well, so that's obviously had a big impact. If anything, I think the fact that Fury Road isn't odds on after those two coming out is the story of the market almost.
Shall we have fingers on the buzzers then for the national market on the sportsbook, Barry, or just in case Tiger Roll does what he did in 2019?
He's a 12-1 chance. It's 12 each of 3, the top 3 in the market at the moment. Burrow, Saint, Cloth Cap and him.
Dare I ask what price he was this time last year for the national that never was? Was he about 9-2 or something?
Yeah, he was 4 or 5-1. Yeah, he was that short. Just to mention, the Grand National market on the Betfair Sportsbook is non-runner money back as well. So that's so some sportsbooks would be bigger than 12-1, obviously, but not without that concession. So
you've got a bit of confidence if you're backing one on the sportsbook if it doesn't make the race in the first weekend of April at Aintree, the People's Race. That is going to be so exciting, that meeting. We'll be covering that here on RP Live. Keep your socials coming in. We love to hear from our viewers out there on this Sunday. No doubt your feet up on the sofa, whether you're watching with a tipple or carrot juice, whatever it is. Let's hope you are enjoying the show. Get your comments in. We love it. YouTube, like and subscribe. Facebook Live, Twitter. Hashtag RP Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Tom Collins, Ross Brierley and Barry Orr from Ireland. And away they go in the Boyne. It's over to Ross.
Yeah, they're off and running, and into the lead is Fury Road. Again, we were talking about horses who might shorten in the betting for Cheltenham, and I think it was 16-1 for the Stayers Hurdle. Because of French Dynamite being out, he gets the easy lead in front of Durasso, Beacon Edge, and then Decore Landais, Tiger Roll and Scarpetta. But 2 mile 5 furlongs for a horse who stays 3 and is now getting an easy lead on bad ground. I'd say if you're back in Fury Road, you're pretty happy with the way these horses have lined up here. Albeit Beacon Edge is right on his heels, so Michael O'Leary will be watching this race and thinking everything could go to plan here. But Fury Road setting the pace out in front. Scarpetta maybe not hurdling that particularly fluently, but Fury Road got the run of the race out in front, and we've seen that it happened at Newbury just a minute ago.
You've got to be happy with that, TC. There was a lovely side-on shot, which they have at Navan. Beautiful, big-looking horse, Fury Road, isn't he? Why on earth haven't they gone chasing with him? I guess it's not really a race of stayers that you totally associate with these colours. Not really, is it? Not in recent years.
No, not at all. And you know, this horse has a lot of ability over hurdles. Maybe they just don't want to rush him, because horses do get rushed into fences, I think, straight away.
He's a 7-year-old now, though, isn't he? So 8 next year over fences.
Year, exactly, yeah. And he got a easy 2-length lead at the start. It was very generous from the other jockeys, I think.
Do you think at the start of the season they thought this is our Stayers Hurdle horse?
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for Christmas, he could, had the yard been better, blah blah blah, a bit flat. He could be 1-1, could be a lot shorter, couldn't he? So maybe Paul's onto something here.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, if that form, if Monkfish is an absolute certainty and Time Hill's a 3-1 shot,
why should Fury? That's total Paul thinking there.
Because he's looking at that, isn't he? He's thinking, well, Time Hill has proven this year that he's a 3-1 shot, so he's shorting off the back of that. Whereas Fury
You're sort of
Road,
betting that everything comes back to that form, though, of course, and that they are still the same models. But at the prices, you can easily do it.
But they're the anti-post bets you want to take, aren't they? Because a 14-16-1 shot suddenly becomes a 6-7-1 shot if he wins this cozily. But yeah, so he's out in front and he's getting a fairly nice time of it. I wonder, whether he does win a Stayers Hurdle. He'll probably win a Troy Town or something over the next couple of years, or he'll certainly turn up with 25 of his stablemates.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's getting a nice nice easy time out of it in front, and it'll be interesting to see what decisions are made by Jack Kennedy in terms of when to kick here at Navan.
What about the Tiger, right at the back observing from rear? Certainly got a more enthusiastic head carriage so far, TC.
Yeah, he just bungled that hurdle. He doesn't treat them with any regard like he does the national fences.
He's used to pushing national fences out of the way.
Exactly. Look, I think he's going to run well in here. I think he's going to loom up large coming into the straight and then probably, weaken or fade away in the closing stages. And we will say that's a perfect prep. I don't think he'll play a hand in the finish with these faster horses, especially given 3 lengths of Fury Road at this stage.
It's amazing, isn't it? A horse that's won 2 back-to-back nationals and people letting him off go at this sort of price, despite the fact, that he's, I don't know, I was surprised he's as big as he was. So everything as we are, Durasso's got a nice sit on the inside, hasn't he? Beacon Edge has done everything straightforward so far.
Yeah, I mean, Beacon Edge is, if it had been, if this was a proper stamina test, it might well have found him out. So I don't think there's any in here, apart from maybe Scarpetta, who I think is used to a bit more of a strong pace to aim at, who you'd be too worried about. But Fury Road hurdles that nicely. Durasso's a lot closer than he was last time out. That Gorham race was running a fair old clip out in front, and Durasso caught the eye running home into a modest 4th. So it'll be interesting to see again. It's going to all be about tactics, isn't it? Here about when jockeys decide to make their move. Whether we were talking about Decor Irlandais, maybe. This is a prep for a handicap run. Is Tiger Roll a prep for a?
I think that's happening now, run? Roscoe. Actually, they're starting to whiz up. So let's go to Barry. I think Fury Road's got to have hardened right up, hasn't he?
Yeah, Fury Road now 2.12, so 11 to 10, 11 to 4 Beacon Edge, and it's 7.8 Durasso, 12 Tiger Roll. They're all still travelling well in themselves, I suppose.
That could be a lot bigger, couldn't it? Tiger Roll. Okay, there's a Constantine up, around about 5 out then in the Boyne.
Yeah, absolutely. Fury Road still travelling within himself out in front. Durasso and Beacon Edge behind those. Decor Irlandais, Scarpetta and Tiger Roll is the widest of the runners, keeping noticeably away from the rest of the field. But so far, so good for every single one of them here. Fury Road out in front under Jack Kennedy then, with Beacon Edge and Sean Flanagan very much hot on his heels. Fury Road leaps that as if it wasn't even there. Fury Road in front. Durasso and Decor Irlandais in particular didn't jump that one particularly well. Here comes Tiger Roll.
This is what TC said he would do. He's swinging.
He is absolutely swinging away. Got plenty to go then here as Durasso starts to come off the bridle. Scarpetta moving into it. Decor Irlandais just getting those cobwebs blown off. But Fury Road still the one to pass in front. What
price Tiger now, Barry, as they swing into the home straight?
9.2 now at the moment, 2.48 Fury Road, 3.35 Beacon Edge, and obviously your Tigers in there at 8.4.
He's absolutely cruising.
There's a lot of money there to lay Fury Road, I think, at 6 to 4, though. Compared to the rest of them, there's hundreds up in.
Should he have kicked, TC? You're on this, chap.
I don't think so. I think he's just biding his time, and Jack will kick soon when he's just entered the straight. And
this is 3 out then.
Yeah, Fury Road and Beacon Edge then. Fury Road still swinging out in front. Beacon Edge throwing down a challenge. Decor Irlandais is travelling very well in behind, and it's coming into this. But
now Tiger's outpaced.
Is the pace going to hold up here as Fury Road and Beacon Edge, the 2 class horses in the Gigginstown colours, go through the gears? Durasso is running out of gears. Decor Irlandais does have a chance and is running on into 3rd, but Fury Road, Beacon Edge, Decor Irlandais, it hasn't been a mad gallop out in front, and it is developing from the front, and Fury Road and Beacon Edge still out in front. Fury Road has the advantage by a length and a half. Beacon Edge is trying his very best as they jump his final hurdle. Fury Road jumps it very well indeed. Beacon Edge is not going down without a fight. Fury Road, Beacon Edge, Fury Road, Beacon Edge. It's been this way all the way up the race here. Fury Road in front of Beacon Edge. Fury Road pulling out plenty as they get to the line, but Beacon Edge gets him. Beacon Edge has pipped him on the post to beat Fury Road.
We've seen some post-pipping, haven't we, the last couple of races here on Racing Post Live. Secret Investor saw off Clan de Zobo and the market got it wrong there. In running anyway as the well-backed Beacon Edge gets up to see off Fury Road. The pair coming well clear. From what I could see, Tiger Roll looked like he fell out the back of the telly. Was that case of him being outpaced, or is indeed the mind not quite there? We shall get some quotes to you from Gordon Elliott, no doubt. Let's go to TC then. You must have thought you had that at the last. He winged it.
Yeah, I thought Fury Road did everything right. Jack Kennedy did everything right in the race. No excuses whatsoever. I just think £2 £2 and 2 really good horses just drawing away from the field.
We've been treated to some belters, haven't we?
I think they're both really, really talented. And if you've got the 40 to 1 on Beacon Edge for the Staters, well, you could be a player.
Do you think that's where he'd go, Beacon Edge?
I'm not too sure, because normally it doesn't.
It's not really
he's
an association, is it?
No. But if he does, then 40 to 1 right now is like a great play. And even if you've got Fury Road at 12s or 14s or whatever, I still think that's a good value bet because they've drawn miles clear of some talented horses. Decor Ellen Day. I mean, tracker horse, surely. I mean,
let's have a look at him then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Finished fifth.
Yeah, you just pulled
Hello,
too hard,
tracker horse.
Yeah. Tiger Roll as well. Don't give up on him. He just got outpaced by quicker horses off the
But he
slow
has,
gallop.
I don't know, he hasn't really stuck in there, has he? I know that they've looked on. I might be a bit harsh. I don't want to be harsh on him, do you know what I mean? But he has, it's like there's nothing there, isn't
it?
It
looked like he downed tools, to be fair, between the last two. But
he was
at the same
cruising.
time-
Obviously, the race, it was a stop-start pace. A national winner's not going to want that. But this, I don't know. I would like to have seen him raise a gallop after the last, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was kept noticeably wide.
He's almost pulled up there, isn't he?
I said completion was the key.
You've got it. You've got a number rather than a letter in
You're
Tiger
claiming
Rolls.
small wins now, right?
Well, that was the point hurdle.
If you own Tiger, if you're Michael O'Leary, you're thinking, well, Tiger Roll's completed.
I'm telling you, he should have been a 150 horse.
Exactly that.
Oh, okay. All right. That was the point hurdle. What a treat it was. It was a neck and neck. We have had some brilliant finishes this weekend, haven't we? Here on RP Live. Loving the game, real-time analysis and reaction. Plenty more to come your way. We've got to go back to Newbury because we are only 5 minutes away as the horses come down the walkway out onto the track for the Betfair Game Spirit. Barry Orr, who's going to go off Fav?
Yes, So Road's gone clear favourite now, just nearly 11 to 4, 3.75, 4.3 Fanny and Destravel. The market completely ignoring Grenadine, who's 6.6 now, considering he was 6 to 4 anti-post favourite for this. 6.6 Champ, 8.6 Dolos. Could Bryony win it with the outsider of the Nichols stable and Magic Saint in there at 10 as well. What I'm going to do here, I think Champ, if he's as buzzy and fresh as people say he is, he could potentially try to go off in front here. If he does, I think he'll trade considerably lower in running than what you can back him at now. So we're going to have 50 quid on him at 6.6, and then we're going to look to lay him in running. So if you go 50 quid at 6.6, we're taking that price, we're backing him, and then what we'll do, we'll lay him in running, and we'll look to lay him at around the even money mark in running. That's probably a bit ambitious, but I'll put it in anyway. I can take care of it from this end if it looks like he's not going to get done. Even money, and we're going to click keep bet. And that will make sure it goes in play for us.
I'll tell you what, I'm watching Rob Lee, who's putting it in the gallery, who's kindly putting the trades on. He looked a little bit concentrated there, Barry, I tell you. And
I'm fair when Ross does it. Ross is a lot luckier.
Unbelievable.
I'm a bit disappointed he didn't put his hand up to do it today.
A little bit of Millwall luck, I'm afraid, you're having on the trades.
I can assure you, Barry, that it was not my decision, hand on heart. I would have
He wanted to do it. He wanted to do it, but it has been taken to the gallery, such as the skills of Rob Lee out there. We'll carry with him today.
As if he's not getting
a little bit of a moan there as well from Barry. Yeah, I know you do believe in that, don't you? You think you got your good luck charms out there. TC was not sure about that. Charlie Post was even better than him, would you believe it?
I've been moved to the middle seat. I've been barred for that.
So Barry, back into lay, Champ. Yeah, he's just a fascinating horse, isn't he? I mean, he was going to go in the Denman Chase. That's what it was all about. And now, hang on a minute. With the ground being as it is today, why not run in the Denman Chase? If they don't want to bottom him, we're talking about some spring ground at Newbury.
But I mean, it looked a tough race, didn't it?
But
I mean,
who's to say he might have not been involved in the finish? If he's that good, Henrietta Knight in the Racing Post in her piece, lovely piece from Men this week, saying he's got more ability than best mate. And when he came to me for the schooling, we taught him to do a few things differently. He was absolutely spot on. This is the one horse today, along with Tiger Roll. I think that the public are, non-racing fans. It's Champ. It's AP McCoy's horse, isn't it? The RSA winner. How did he win the RSA? It was $1 million, wasn't he? 4 out. So
do you think there's a bit of also? He is the public's horse, but there's also a bit of a thing about Henderson at the moment that I almost think people want these bold moves.
That comes from within racing. Let me tell you, it's not your everyday. It's not your everyday fan.
Yeah,
that's a bit of something from within racing, I think, because we kind of Altior didn't turn up today.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
The ground in this race would be perfect for him.
Yeah, it's a weird move, isn't it? I do think it's a positive move, personally. Not for
You,
today,
of course.
but I do think it's a positive move, and I would love to see...
The US expert on the panel suggests this is absolutely part of the plan.
You know what, like, I don't mind this variety of trips. These horses have... Champ has proven in the past he's got the speed to contest these races. Like, he won a bumper over shorter than 2 miles. Like, he has speed. He can quicken. Give them the variety of trips. He's not going to be hopeless. Look, Tiger Roll is a different example. Like, 4 miles back to the Boyne over hurdle was completely different. Champ, over fences again. He's got the speed to live with these. This is a perfect prep run. He's going to test his jumping.
Are you with him?
No, not at all today. But
Brilliant.
But looking forward,
You admire what they're doing.
Yeah,
yeah, and it is fascinating, isn't it?
Just by the way, before the RSA last year, people were like, "Will Champ get up the hill
around
over
because he fell in the
3
dipper,
miles?"
didn't he?
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
And you remember when he won here the time before, at the November meet, he nearly jinked out, didn't he?
So people were saying you were questioning his stamina at Cheltenham, you questioning his speed at Newbury.
Yeah,
Right, what is he? We're about to find out. Fanny and D'Estraval, real gamble of the race, course and distance winner.
He might be out in front as well.
Who wins, Ross?
Right. Well, I was hoping Magic Saint would get the run of the race here.
You're hoping for a secret investor special here.
Yeah, I think I've shot the bolt early, but Magic Saint I think he's got a chance. This is his track. He doesn't really get up the hill at Cheltenham in soft ground.
He'll like the ground, won't he? Yeah.
And given the form he's got tied in with Fanny and D'Estraval, I couldn't quite see the price differential really.
I'm on the very difficult to pronounce agrianatine. I think I've just nailed that, but you read it and you're like, how's that supposed to sound? 5 of the 6 runners started off with Monsieur Macaire in France. It's amazing, isn't it? Only Champ that didn't. They all came from his academy, so he'll be watching on going, come on over, guys, with your Euros. Absolutely. That was a lovely...
You mocked me earlier for my French. I'm laughing about that.
Where's Tony Ennis when you need him? The great impersonator. Yeah, that was a terrible French impersonation, wasn't it? Monsieur Macaire. But yeah, that is something, that is fascinating, isn't it? Take Champ out, he's covered the whole field from his academy. Yeah. Who wins then, TC?
This wouldn't be a betting race for me. I just want to watch it. I think there's some interesting horses in this field. Sir Royale, I don't like backing horses first time up after a fall.
Second to Altior last year, no penalty, got his ground.
Yeah, there are plenty of positives. I just hate the first time up after a fall angle. I just avoid them no matter.
You don't know what you're going to get, do you, after horses falling? Yeah.
Exactly. Grenadine would have been the play. 5-1, proper play.
Would he be an in-running play for you then, So Royale, do you think? You watch him warm up a bit? No, still not.
No, I just would leave the race. Like, I don't want... If anything, he'd just be a lay because I just don't like the full angle.
A lot of punters obviously looking at this race, aren't they? A lot of players out there and thinking, no, Altior this year. Altior could have come and won this. We're going to see that form advertised, I think. So Alan King's horse deserves another big payday.
Yeah, he does, but I think he's missed his chance personally. But again, it is a really interesting race. The other interesting angle here is kind of age groups. You've got your 6 and 7 year olds, your up and comers, your French Raiders, your Magic Saints, Grenadine and Fanny and D'Estravals versus your old timers slightly in the shape of Sauve Royale and Champ, who's 9 years old.
Off and running, and Barry Orr's just about called it right, I think, because on top of him, Nico de Boinville is keeping it simple, and he does lead over the first fence. Flicks his legs out the side, but he's over absolutely fine. And Magic Saint has gone right to the back. I'm not having any of that, thank you very much. Slight change of tactics on Dolos, strong travelling sort. He's with Bryony Frost over for a quick double, and Grianatine, who can be keen, he is doing just that at the moment. When he won his Holden Gold Cup, he pulled for his head all over the place. He got a lead from Politolog in the Tingle Creek last time. Is that exuberance going to cost him at the business end? Fanny and D'Estraval, he could take a fence or two with him, can't we? But his best performance so far has come at this track. Would he have had a say behind Kalashnikov and Mr. Fisher had he not belted all the fences in the Peterborough Chase? A fascinating race. They're going out onto the far side, Ross Brierley.
Yeah, I don't think the jockeys really... I don't think any of them really know what they're supposed to be doing here because I
think Nico does.
Oh, I think
Nico
he does.
has very clear instructions, yeah.
Well, let's talk about him in the market then, Barry, because what you hope for is pretty much playing out.
Yeah, he went into 4.5 at one stage. He's 5.0 now. So Royal 3.85 for Fanny and D'Estraval. Obviously, they're all still travelling. You know, it's all about jumping though, and he's got just in tight to a few of them, Champ, but I think he's going well out in front.
He certainly is going well. It's all about whether he's got the speed for a game spirit, which at the moment, thus far he has, and he's stacking them up slightly, although Dolos is intent on keeping him cosy. I'll tell you what, So Royal in the inside, he's so accurate. You can tell that he's been in a champion chase, can't you, the way he is jumping, as they are clustered. TC on the far side. I'm
a bit surprised that Dolos and Bryony didn't go forward and try and, well, now it seems like she's trying to press the pace, because this horse is properly race fit. His Gold Cup was that handicap run at Sandown 2 weeks ago. So he's going to be race fit. And with Grenadine, a real hard puller in the race, you'd think Nichols would be like, right, go on, give Dolos his best chance, make Grenadine settle, give him his best chance. But I mean, it didn't pan out in the early stages.
I'll tell you what, Henrietta Knight is sitting at home in Lambourne at the moment, and she's probably getting the port out going, he just come to me, you can jump perfectly. Because he is absolutely straight dying them at the moment, champ. This is not the horse that we saw last season at all, as Magic Saint just gets her ears. I'll tell you what, Fanny and Destraval, he's finding this 2 mile pace a little bit hot, Ross, isn't he?
He is a bit, yeah. Again, he's been performing in soft ground over the winter, and this is very different to what he's been enjoying. I mean, we're talking about So Royal. I said he might have missed his boat, but he's the one horse in this race that's thinking, you all get on with whatever you're getting on with. Champ, you change tactics, you go wide, you go out in front. So Royal is just doing what he always does.
It's the Alan King way, isn't it?
It
just get on the inside, sit
Switch
in midfield,
off.
track the pace, switch off, and then make your move in the home straight, as we're now approaching.
You'd be looking for a price for the champion chase for Champ at this rate. You'd be looking for a price for the champion chase.
He's not in it. He's in the Stayers Hurdle. I actually had a look. I was like, hang on a minute, is he in the Ryanair?
He's currently trading at 2.96, Champ.
Wow, okay. Listen, oh wow, the curveball. Nicky Henderson's sitting, I don't even need to watch this. We've got a 2 mile at home, so here they come then, 4 out. We're in the home straight. Grenadine still going all right. It looks like him, So Royal. Fanny and Destral, the big gamble, he has been taken off his feet. Cannot go on this ground. And up and over they go. Champ goes absolutely fine. They're mounting though. So Royal coming up to him on the bridle. Grenadine, he's giving weight, £6 to So Royal. Fanny and Destraval trying to get back into it. But he just hasn't got a pace. But Champ absolutely wingos that one. And yeah, okay, Grenadine, that early exuberance is now costing him. 2 go clear to the second last, is it, I think? Champ on the inside. So Royal winging it on the outside. So Royal's thinking, where's Altior this year? Happy days, I've got Champ on my inside again. Can't come up bridesmaid one more time, can he? They're coming to the last. Is this going to be another ding dong? Grenadine, we're absolutely matched as well in the trade. Wing! Oh, Champ's last final mistake at the last fence. So Royal goes clear, but they'll be delighted with Champ. He's coming back up the running. Can he possibly do it? No. The diminutive So Royal loves this ground. He bounces off it. What a ride, Darryl Jacob. Absolutely fantastic scenes. No Altior this year. He takes it out without the penalty on his back. Champ, what a comeback. What did you make of that? Get your comments in. We're going to digest it now. And Grenadine, he is your benchmark horse. He is back in third spot. Ross Brierley.
The only horse, the only jockey who basically did what they always do, they rode their actual normal race and it came off. Magic Saint's often out there in front. He was out the back. Dolos was trying to soften up Champ, who was out in front where he never usually is. Fanny and Destraval never at all looked like he was enjoying that particular contest. And Grenadine pretty much stayed in exactly the same spot throughout the entire race, whereas Darryl Jacob, So Royal, he's been up against, like you said, your Altiors and your Epatants, and found this a little bit easier. But it's a blinding run from Champ, really. It's an absolute fantastic comeback. But the one horse, again, who got that perfect sit through and basically ran his race was So Royal, and he's had his day in the sun today.
He's solo over his fences. He's the experienced 2 mile chaser. What do we make of Champ's jump in there? You said you liked the prep for this.
Yeah.
All roads now to the Gold Cup.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the prep now looks even better, doesn't it? He's just had a real good blowout over 2 miles. He was challenged by a horse that's very pacey, and So Royal. He's jumped really well apart from the last, which he didn't actually jump too badly. Look, he bungled it, didn't he? He didn't go completely through it and harmed his chances.
It was just when they're going that pace, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not used to it. Whereas So Royal, he's danced every dance in the 2 mile division.
They're not going to go that pace.
Alan Kim will
Cup,
be absolutely over the moon with this, So concentrate on the winner for a bit, because he has to run through the winter, running the Fighting Fifth, didn't he? Won the Welsh Champion. Oh, that turned out to be really good form. And then he goes back over fences in the Tingle Creek, was never going to have his ground. The Clarence House, another Grade 1, is probably not going to have his ground there. This is the race. What are you thinking if you're Altior at the moment? If you look after Altior, you're thinking, should we have been here today? I mean, he beats So Royal every time they run, doesn't he?
No, I don't think Altior's the same Altior, to be honest. This year he looks, the last couple of years...
What are you expecting from Altior in the champion chase?
Not a lot. I really don't expect that much from him.
Altior on his day, and this is something we should say, was brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was amazing to watch, public imagination, beat Big Buck's world record, of course. And then ever since he's tried that 2 mile 4 against Surname, it's just gone off a little bit.
It's ruined him, hasn't it? That one match with Surname, and probably ruined Surname as well, to be honest.
It was a lovely sight to see them swinging in. We shouldn't knock the third, Grenadine. He's just been that bit too keen, isn't he?
Yeah, he needs to learn how to race better and drop the bridle. He finished clear third. Look, the race kind of fell apart behind the front two, didn't it? I mean, Magic Saint and Dolos just weren't good enough. Fagnon Destraval hated the ground, stayed on well for fourth. Grenadine pulled really hard early, but finished a clear-cut third.
Grenadine, he doesn't do one thing particularly well. He does everything quite well, and he's kind of like an all-rounder, but he doesn't have that edge of class or that...
They want to step him up in trip eventually, but he's too keen at the minute to do it. So perhaps next year they'll be looking to do it and try and train him slightly differently. The other three never got into it. Fagnon Destraval, Magic Saint wasn't really at the races today, and Dolos looked like he had a hard race at Sandown last time. I've got to go to Barry because I want to ask you a couple of questions, Barry. First and foremost, what has that done to the Gold Cup market on the sportsbook? Could this be one of those creeping closer gambles that we see in a race? You said it was a moderate edition of the Gold Cup.
Yeah, he's into 6-1 from 10-1 champ for the Gold Cup off the back of that run. It's a cracking comeback run, you'd have to say. He jumps significantly better than I thought he would over 2 miles. He traded at a low of 1.70. Thankfully, we got matched at even money in running.
It's a great shout, that, Barry.
So Royal trade at a high of 5.3 and Grenadine trade at a low of 2.80. For the champion chase, the winner is cut into 12-1 from 33-1. So, there's big reaction, anti-post point of view in Cheltenham. But the biggest is probably champ 6-1 from 10-1.
And can I ask you, I did ask you about Tiger Roll and the National as well. After the Boyne, has there been any reaction whatsoever on the sportsbook anti-post wise to his performance today?
Yeah, he's gone from 12 out to 14, and again that's non-runner money back. But it wasn't a great performance. He did empty very, very quickly, so you'd have to be worried about that. But just drifted out 2 points to 14.
Wow, there we go then. It's all happening this weekend. We promised you a double header of seismic proportions. We're getting that here on Racing Post Live. The more you look at that champ run, it was absolutely lovely, wasn't it? Switch him off in a Gold Cup. TC thinks he's going to have a big say in that. What do you say? We've got 2 more races coming your way. We culminate in the 3:35 back at Newbury. An unbelievable Betfair hurdle we're going to give you. But we must now go to Market Rasen. There is another race coming from Market Raspberry, as the locals call it. It is a novice handicap, I believe. It's not far off that, I don't think. Mick Maestro, he's a horse that we saw up at Catterick, Barry, wasn't he? He's got a habit of knocking him out the way at the hurdles, this horse. But when he's right, he's very, very good.
Yeah, he's 4.7, Dave, Mick Maestro. Gero is currently 5.2, 4.4 Gypsy de Choisil. Miss Heritage 7.8, 7 Quarter Joy. Nearly all of them, bar Langerdan and Dream de Grand Vai, are double figures, are single figures. Those two are double figures. I like Langerdan in it. I thought he'd go well. He wasn't beaten that far in the Boodles last year off 135. He's only beaten 4 3/4 lengths. He ran over an inadequate trip last time at 2 mile 5. He's off 131 today. Stable in good form. I think he'll run into a place here. So going to back Langerdan, 25 quid win and place Langerdan. I'm happy to be a price taker here in both markets. Just a standard 3 places here.
I didn't think you were going to say Langerdan. There you go. He's off the back of a wind up, isn't he? As you said, coming back, Team Skelton can do little wrong. Trade on. You've got time if you want to get involved with Barry Orr and Langerdan. Okay, so we've got one out, haven't we? Of course, Blakeney Point comes out. I thought Gero might be the horse to take going forward from this race. It's not a race I particularly like. Miss Heritage got up in the weights. She was thrashed by Mick Maestro up at Catterick. Don't think quite saw the real her that day. Wasn't sure what to make of the Nicky Henderson horse, who found Metier far too hot. Probably is a handicap horse in the making. So a Gero will do for me off the back of a wind up. I'd like some slightly better ground for him.
It's a similar comment to Stoner's Choice, isn't it, early on in the card, where you're kind of thinking this might be the best horse in the race, but whether the conditions are ideal. So could run a blinder here, get beat into second, and you think, OK, we've got a good handicapper. But if he does take to the ground, every chance. But I'm just going to stick with the proven. And Mick Maestro so far this season has been an absolute revelation. The handicap has walloped him, but that
£12, didn't he, got?
But we've seen Miss Heritage come out and frank that form, so it seems actually fairly reasonable.
She's finished second and then won last time out. Just at Catterick that time, which we did on this show, wasn't it, over the Christmas meeting? It was a funny gallop, and she's a horse that needs to settle. Yeah. Bryony Frost knows her really, really well. Aidan Coleman on. She didn't settle that day, and I was with her when she won, because I knew that wasn't quite the right her. I'd say the revised weights will be more between them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame it's only down to 7 runners, because with her profile, 8 runner plus races, you just back her each way, and you're going to pretty much get your money back. But yes. I know what you mean about her. She maybe didn't run up to her best, but Mick Maestro, I think, probably would have won at Doncaster before that. He's bolted up the form has been frank last time out. He's got no problems with the conditions. He's not gone in. He's not. He's off top weight here in a similar grade rather than bottom weight in a much hotter race. So I think he's got a
That's
great
interesting.
chance.
He could have gone for one of the bigger handicaps, TC, couldn't he? Do you like him?
I think he's got a chance, but this isn't a race I'll be betting again. It'll be a no bet, 2 races in a row, unfortunately. I thought Agiro is the best horse moving forward, as you said. He's a really exciting horse for a good team in
By
Kimberley.
Red Jazz. He's a half-brother to Charbel, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's won really well the last twice. I don't think the form of his recent victory stacks up to much. I don't really rate that Captain Morgs. I tipped Shang Tang in the paper to beat him earlier this week, and he really did so. Captain Morgs is very green and babyish.
I bet you they're getting him ready for the EBF final.
Probably. Pipe smoker for that Henderson as well. But as well as Agero, I think that Miss Heritage could be the value in the race. And now I know Miss Heritage was stuffed by Mick Maestro 3 runs back, but the weight swing here. Lucy Wadham's already had a win on the card. Also ridden by Aidan Coleman, who's aboard Miss Heritage.
Is that Martello Sky?
Yes, Martello Sky won.
Did it?
Yeah,
okay.
came strong down the outside under Coleman. And I like these horses that often place, catch the eye in doing so, but find one too good, and then go and win a race comfortably, which Miss Heritage did last time. Then I like backing them next time up. Now, I'm not going to back her in this race. I haven't had a bet in this race, but she would be the one at the prices that I would be interested in.
Okay, Ross Brierley, do you mind calling these guys home? I think
Sure.
you're going to be calling Gortro Joe up there, I think, at the moment. So, interesting race this. Not bad race at all for Market Rasen on a Sunday, 3:15. Some horses that will have a say going forward. Young horses in their career, I think. Mick Maestro, Gortro Joe, some of the older ones. But we've got the totally unexposed Gypsy de Choiseul. There you go, that's better, isn't it?
That was much better.
I'm on it.
I'm glad you said that because we haven't said it out loud so far. So you've said that's what I'm going with. Gypsy de Choiseul.
It was Barry's attempt at saying it. That's what I've got.
Attempt.
Off we go and running. Happy days then. Penultimate race here on RP Live. Let's go to Ross Brierley for Market Rasen 3:15.
2 miles and half a furlong then as Gortro Joe predictably goes out in front to lead them up from Agero and some sketchy jumps in behind. Miss Heritage didn't go at the correct angle over that hurdle by any stretch, and Dream de Grand Val hasn't run for 397 days and nobody's told him he was turning up today. He's very, very fizzy and he don't think he really wants to be there, but this will certainly get the fizz out of him. Gortro Joe out in front then from Agero, with on the outside Mick Maestro, on the inside of him is Gypsy de Choiseul, behind those Miss Heritage and Langer Dan off the back of that absence. This could be a nice little intro for a county hurdle given his connections with Dream de Grand Val in behind those as they turn into the straight then here for the 3:15 at Market Rasen. And Gortro Joe, the 9-year-old, the oldest horse in the pack, has gone out into the front rank here, the only course winner, and he's back at one of his favourite tracks, and he's in a fairly good rhythm.
It'll take a lot of beating Agero for my money here. It's all about settling with this horse back off the windop, and I really like his position at the moment. Interesting what Charlie Todd's doing on Mick Maestro. Do you remember, Barry, up at Catterick, he went wide all the way. He's doing exactly that again. What does the market say about these guys?
Yeah, Mick Maestro 8 to 6 to 1 now. The market's not liking it, but it's liking Agero 3.35. Had a Betfair SP of 5.3. Gypsy de Choiseul a 4.4 seems to be steady away at that. 6.2 Gortro Joy.
Langadang out the back at the minute. Looks like he's just finding the pace a little bit hot at the minute, back off that windop, isn't it? But Barry thinks he can have a say as well. Miss Heritage, know this fairly well, as I said. This mare, well, for her, this is settling okay.
Yeah, definitely. She seemed to have settled after that fairly sketchy jump at the first. But yeah, so far, Gortro Joe, and as you said, Agero, if you want Agero, you've got the perfect position, haven't you? He's on the heels of the leader, and I'm interested to see what move David Bass makes into the home straight. But just drawing his whip there, Liam Harrison aboard Gortro Joe. Behind those Agero then, Gypsy de Choiseul jumps that nicely. Interesting you made that point about Mick Maestro. I wonder whether the market might have reacted to the way this horse is running, thinking he's not in a great position. But if he did it last time...
It's all about getting him into a fluid rhythm. He's a horse that, mistakes were a serious issue with him early in his career, so they obviously think he doesn't like being crowded.
Yeah, I mean, he's travelling very well within himself. Just a few nudges for Gypsy de Choiseul, who's being asked a question or two. Gortro Joe then from Agero, Mick Maestro on the outside, then Miss Heritage and Gypsy de Choiseul. But the front two have just kicked on a bit here. Agero travelling very well within himself, but Mick Maestro is now throwing down a challenge on the outside, or at least trying to go through the gears to throw down a challenge. They're leaving Miss Heritage, Langer Dan, and in particular Dream de Grand Val behind.
Tanking on Agero, isn't he?
Yeah, to be fair, they're tanking on the front three in the betting. This could be a nice finish over at Market Rasen. Are you happy or
I'm happy. Agero, I'm happy.
Okay, and behind those, Miss Heritage Langer down again, might be running on for a place, but so far he's struggling to go. The gallop here as Agero takes it up. Mick Meister on the outside, Gypsy de Choiseul, Miss Heritage again running on, probably for her customary second place as she tends to do, but Agero still in front. A quick look round there from David Bass to see what challenges, and the challenges of Mick Maestro. It looks like it's going to be between these two. It's me versus you, Dave, with Miss Heritage in behind.
You've won ahead, Bobber, so far, me and you. It's my turn to shine. Two out then.
Agero jumps it beautifully. Mick Maestro, though, comes down to throw down a challenge. As Agero got more to come down that inside rail. Throwing on is Miss Heritage. Mick Maestro coming off the bridle. He tends to win on the bridle, but he's still not completely out of this. Agero didn't jump that particularly well, but neither did Mick Maestro.
Could she pick them up?
She could pick them up, given the way that she tends to finish. Miss Heritage running on, but Agero still out in front from Mick Maestro and Miss Heritage. Agero, we said he was in the perfect position throughout. He's still in front. It's a long way home. It feels a long way home at Market Rasen. Miss Heritage finishes second once again, as she tends to do. But Agero, Dave, good call. Agero beats Miss Heritage and Mick Maestro back in third.
I want to pick up on something you said about the previous race at Market Rasen. That was not the place to be on the inside there, was it?
No.
I would have loved to have. If Agero had come wide there, I think he would have won by a couple of lengths.
Yeah, you can see like the first 3 horsewhips from the rail was just completely chewed up ground.
He was hanging to come into towards the last. David Bass didn't want to ask him to go. Conscious of the wind up, probably not the ideal ground. Bungled the last, still won. They got a nice horse for next season.
Yeah, he's talented, isn't he? And the Windup's done a good job. Second time up off of Windup's usually the angle, so next time as well he's likely to put an improved display. It was a no-bet race, but I should have done the forecast.
There you go. Before we go to Barry Orr and for the story of the market there, because it did get close, didn't it? You say improvement need. You got a quote coming in from Gordon Elliott about Tiger Roll. Keith Donohoe actually. This was his report afterwards. Elliott says about Tiger Roll. Keith Donohoe said he travelled well to the third last. We saw that, but it was horrible ground, and he just got tired. Of course, I would have liked to have seen him run better, but Keith said he hated the ground. So all roads still lead to Cheltenham there. Was a bit more enthusiasm, I think we can say that. That was the Tiger, in case you were wondering. How short did Agero go? And did that final mistake at the last, Barry, see his spike come up a little bit? It was a long way home on the run-in.
Yeah, Mick Maestro traded at a low of 204. Miss Heritage traded at a low of 4-1. The horse that I backed in the race, see that finishing fourth? That's one for the notebook. Again, me, premature punting again. Back in his first time after a wind up, I'd say he'll come on a stone for the run. He's one for the notebook. Langerdan.
He was 6 in the Fred Winter, wasn't he, Barry? So I thought
6. Yeah, he was only beaten 4 3/4 lengths in the Fred Winter. Yeah, but
so county hurdle.
1-3-1. Would he get into a county off 1-3-1? I don't think so. He'd need to be winning there.
Skelton's usually
borderline.
Was it Mo Hayed that runs in the county? Obviously, no longer with us. Mo Hayed for the Skeltons. Now with Langerdan.
Yeah.
And then when it was Chitabello,
secret story, wasn't it?
Not the same owner.
Superb story. Yeah. Look, 1-3-1 is you've had an absolute touch. If you're getting on, it used to be fine 1-3-1, but these handicaps have got more valuable. They've got more truncated, haven't they, with the weights? But anyway, that was Market Rasen. Really enjoyed having that on the show. We saw the Sydney Bank, so didn't we? Went to Manila Drama and the young and improving Agero for Team Bass and Bailey in. Is it the first flow colours? No, they're not, are they? No. First flow, of course, going for the champion chase. Before that, we saw, of course, So Royal taking out the Betfair Game Spirit. That was absolutely superb. Get your comments in about him. What did you make of Champ? Want to hear about that before the end of the show? We have a little bit of time before the crescendo comes down. It's the race of the day, I think we can say that. It's certainly one of the most valuable handicaps you'll see anywhere at the minute, certainly in Britain. 125 grand Barry Orr. 7 places, did you say, on the sportsbook?
7 places each way punters on the sportsbook. Yeah, you can bet down to 7 places on the exchange as well. The anti-post favourite Kazan is still favoured in the day of race market, 6.8. 9.8, Mr. Coffee has been really, really strong. Soaring Glory, he's been a little bit weak. He's out to 11.5 now. 15 Buzz, another one that's just a little weak now. Obviously, this is in the win market. 50 Ball in there at 14. Shake 'em Up Harry been really well supported into 14. Guard Your Dream, some money for that as well. And Pine White, one of 2 Paul Nichols runner with Harry Cobden in the plate. That got a favourable mention of Paul in his Betfair blog. I like Guard Your Dreams. I was impressed with him last day, the way he went about his business. I just thought that off his mark, he could run a big race here. Nigel Twiston-Davis has won this 3 times before. He won it with Splashes Ginge, Ballyandy and Al Dancer when it was rescheduled in Ascot So he's a good heritage in the race, Nigel Twiston-Davies. 8 out of the last 11 winners of this race have been novices. So I'm going to back Guard Your Dreams in the win market at 24, so 25 quid in them in the win market. And then in the place market, I'm going to back him in 7 places. So no doubt he'll finish 8th, but we're going to take 7 places here and have 25 quid win on Guard Your Dreams in the 7th place market.
Guard Your Dreams with Barry Orton. You can tell he's presented the trophy the last 10 years. He was reeling off the previous winners there. I'll tell you what, I forgot about Al Dancer, of course, and he did win it with Ballyandy and Splash of Ginge, of course, made all that day, didn't he? It's a very, very deep race, isn't it? You could happily have a team of 6 going into this TC.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can make a case for most of them, can't you? There's 2 I like specifically, though I can see why. The likes of Mr. Coffee has been supported. David Jennings is a big fan of that horse. I'm not so much. He thinks the horse is about a stone and a half well in. I think Soaring Glory is about a stone and a half well in. For John Joe O'Neill, who, as I keep mentioning on shows you're on, Dave, that I really like John Joe O'Neill's horses this year. He hasn't.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
No, because when he starts winning them,
remind us of what you said at the start of the season, TC.
Well, he's going to hit 100 winners this season.
What's he on now, TC?
I don't know. You can have a look at that. But this Soaring Glory is a really impressive horse. I really like him. He was good in his bumpers. Been a big fan since he won at Warwick.
This would be the 59th winner. So.
He's not going to get to 100, but he's probably going to get close to,
Yeah.
Really good, really exciting horse, Soaring Glory. He beat Brave Man's Game
I love him.
Season.
I love him. I think he's just the type you need for this. The drift doesn't bother me whatsoever.
No.
That Dulsart form, unfortunately we're not seeing Dulsart, who would have been one of the market leaders on certain now for the Supreme Novice Hurdle. That will do for me. It screamed county hurdle for me, that. Since been to Ascot, probably just getting his confidence back after a fall at Wetherby.
I don't think that race was run to suit him either, and obviously at Wetherby he would have won, but for falling 2 out. Mark of 133. I think it's a 150 horse, Like I genuinely think he's going to make up into a 150 horse, so we'll see, and hopefully he gets it done today.
Think it'll be a chaser, or do you think is he that sort of rangy type?
I think he'll go over fences. I don't know when, but I think he'll go over fences.
This race hasn't been kind to John Joe O'Neill's stable in the last 10 years, not from one place from just 8 runners. But go back when I first got into racing, this is exactly the sort of race that John Joe would be plotting one up for successfully as well. Soaring Glory at the top of my tree as well in this race. Ross Brierley.
Yeah, he was one of 3 for me. I mean, you said you could have. How many did you say I could have? 17, was it?
Well, I said a team of 6. You'd be confident that you might have a say in
You might finish in the 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 7 places, so come on.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. So I'll be finishing 8th, 9th, 10th.
You're having a good day after a dreadful start, of course. You've come back with some steam.
It's been a Goshen day, hasn't it? All or nothing.
Oh my Goshen, yeah. All or nothing freak that you are.
Pretty much, exactly. That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much that's on my CV. But yeah, really good race. But yeah, Soaring Glory's one of them. You've said all the things that you need to say about him. The only thing I would add is that maybe Llandin Arbo lad, that form, he was second in that Ascot race. He's been well beaten by Manila Drama. We thought he was below par. That form's been given a boost. So is it just a strong grade of horses? But 2 at bigger prices, seems we are going 7 places. One is Time White, who's a 5-year-old Paul Nicholls runner. Of course,
the Nicholls team do quite like him, Barry, don't they, as well? Yeah.
Pic D'Orhy's Arcanda, similar profiles, won this race. And if you watch that Floressa run back, this horse was travelling all over them.
Do you think he would have beaten Milkwood that day? No, I know he unseated and then hampered Milkwood, who finished 3rd.
It would have been very tight, wouldn't it?
Milkwood's the sort of strong traveller you want for this sort of race. I don't know. I think he's shown his hand a little bit more.
I think they're very closely matched, and if you're getting 12 on Milkwood and 22 on Time White, then Time White's the value of the duo.
Why
and
against
one's 7 and one's 5 as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we against Kadzan then?
The price, I think. He's got every chance, hasn't he? He's an improver for a stable in Dan Skelton's. It's on the up, and 33% strike rate in the last 2 weeks with 15 winners.
£9 rise for the Kempton win at Christmas, but Christmas
it was so
came
impressive.
out and won. He was, yeah.
And it's just the fact he's well treated, although he's up £11. It's just that he's 9-2, 5-1 in a race where you can make case for those at 10s, 20s.
He's a horse that I followed a bit in the early stages of his career. I backed him on his bumper debut. I kept following him, and air on his comeback, I wonder why he got so far back. It was behind a Scudamore horse called Do Your Job. And he was never going to catch that one. It was all about settling this chap. And then he turned up at Warwick. We saw what it was all about. Went to Kempton, won as he liked. But I don't know. I think that £9 rise, I think there might be better treated horses in here is what I'm trying to get to.
I mean, the main reason I'm against it is because I'm in here and it's Dan Skelton. So those 2 things so far have been a nightmare.
But why is that? A couple of weeks ago, you did an acca with the Skeltons, didn't you? And every weekend since, those have come in. I've got a mate of mine who did Skelton horses in some crazy acca yesterday. And was able to cash out pre their last runner who didn't quite get. I'm just trying to remember what that was. And he absolutely loves. If you're back in Skelton horses at the minute.
Yeah, they go through. They're all or nothing a bit. But it wasn't just the fact that it was a Skelton horses. It was the exact horses yesterday that won. 2 of them were in my treble, so it wasn't even the yard. It's the exact horses going. Oh, I was just 3 weeks early. But
you were.
He does have
Captain Chaos, of course.
Yeah, Captain Chaos. Yeah, and the horse who won the novice.
Was it Shannon Bridge? Oh no.
What was the horse? I've completely forgotten. He's 4th at Warwick. Won the novice yesterday.
In the red colours.
Yeah.
I can't remember its name. Midnight
River.
Midnight River.
There you go.
Between us.
So lovely assists. But yeah,
Flowed.
It's he's got absolutely got every chance. Cadsand. Again, I do think I feel similarly to him about the Scott horse in the first race, in the sense that I think he has to improve, and he's up against horses who will also improve. So I think he might just be a couple of lengths behind these. One at a very big price I thought was a bit interesting was Balenska, who's currently I think 50 to 1 for Evan Williams. This horse was sent off favourite behind Milkwood for a race at Foss Lass earlier on in the season. Travelled all over Milkwood, but got into a speed duel and didn't get home. You watch the Greatwood back.
Watch it back.
They turn into the home straight, still on the bridle, doesn't get up the hill. Since then, he's had a 78-day break and a blowout in a jumper's bumper. Oddly, Violet Dancer won I think we're running a flat race or a jumper's bumper before winning this race, and there was another one when I was looking earlier.
He's making the case. He's making the case.
7 places, 50 to 1.
I had to look down. It was right at the bottom of the pile. He's also got Mick the Man in here as well, hasn't he? Who was Matt the Man, sorry, who was going well when brought down in the race last year. He's been nicely brought back to a ball for team Evan Williams there. Right, let's get some social media questions in from the viewers. What are you saying out there? Stephen Hughes, good to have you back, Stephen. Our each way. Lucky 15 man. Mr. Coffee, 50 bull, and Highway 1-1 are my Highway 102, I should say. That was a curveball, wasn't it? In my Betfair team. 50 bull. Quick word about him. Gary Moore. Is this the Goshen colours?
It is. Yeah.
Very similar, if not.
Yeah, it is the Goshen colours. He's a very interesting runner, isn't he? 50 bull. He didn't really show that much in France to begin his career, and then won 2 bumpers, and then came over to Gary Moore, and he's gone from strength to strength and improving for every run. Big improvements as well on RPRs. So he's an interesting runner. I think he's better over further. So I don't know if he has the speed to live with some of these, but look, he's got only 10 stone 5 on his back. He's a 6-year-old.
It reminds you a bit of Violet Dancers, just crack on and get on with it. And Highway 102, and this time last year, I agree, looked like he was going to be a right horse, didn't he? As I said earlier on the show, Chris Gordon's horse is bouncing back. Commander von Roerich, a regular contributor, comes in and says Milkwood, another one for Highway 102, and Time White, 3 darts in this for the Commander. Happy days. Yeah, Time White. Speaking to Harry Durham, assistant trainer to Paul Nicholls and Harry Coleman about this, I think they thought he would have nearly won the Jerry Field, and he stood up. And they've kept his handicap mark for this, and they like the ground for him as well. I'm surprised he's as big as he is. Let's have a look. And Thomas Irish HD, who's had some really good success on the show in the last couple of weeks, went Fred, interesting, and following in Barry with Guard Your Dreams Each Way. One more, I'm being told there's a 4th, happy days. Last but very much not least, Milky B 86, is that right? Mikey B.
Milky?
I'm finding an L from somewhere. Mr. Coffee, Edward Stone, and for pleasure, 3 goes at it. Yes, you're listening out there. So it's a team of 3 people. We're going for 1 each, aren't we? It's ridiculous, really. If you had to have a next best?
Edward Stone and then Milkwood would be my 2.
Edward Stone's all you like, isn't it? You put him up on the show when you want to. He's got the class to have a say in this race.
And the fast pace will be right up his street. He's a keen goer early in his races, and he'll be happy in behind a fast speed, and he'll come through late. But Alan King, not in form.
Well, he just won the game Spirit.
Yeah,
what
I know, but what is that? 2 for 26 in the
What
last
do you
2 weeks?
want?
And the King horse you tipped earlier travelled run an absolute blinder.
Didn't win.
Hey, perfecto.
Didn't win.
Yeah, that's what you've got to be in your bonnet there, showing the pocket, talking TC. Loving all the selections there. Good luck, guys, out there with all them. We'll be giving them a scream. Mr. Coffee, a quick word about him then. Has one on good ground, hasn't he? The win first time up at Sandown, he looked like he might be. I had a word out of the stable then saying this could potentially be a champion hurdle horse. So DJ does, Dave Jennings, our Irish correspondent, does tend to get these projects, and they often prove right. He could still be of that class. This should theoretically, Roscoe, be run just perfectly to suit him. Will he get too far back?
I mean, again, watching back, the last few years of this race, you very much want to be in the van turning into the home straight. So it'd be interesting to see where they make the move. But he's got interesting form with Gallis McCarlo, who's out of that Benson form at Sandown. And again, one's 13-2, one's 20-1. I don't know if that's likely to be the fact that we've said that horses like Gallis McCarlo have showed the best on soft ground and now up against it, and Mr. Coffee might improve for the better conditions. But on pure form, the prices are wrong. Just one more thing to mention about this race would be as well, I think it's 2003 since a horse 7 or older has won it.
Yeah.
So 5 and 6 year olds as
5 and 6 year old handicap debutants, tick 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 for the trends followers, or
novices, young
of
horses.
Kevin Morley's brilliant trends column in the paper. This is one of the biblical trends races. Shake 'em up Harry, or Shake 'em up Harry, I should call him. Of course, was in front of Gallis McCarlo last time they met. Gallis McCarlo didn't really turn up that day. Metier will be looking on from the sidelines here, won't he? One of the anti-post favourites. Talking to the market then, Barry, they're just circling to get into position. Kazan, Clear Fav, or is Mr. Coffee pushing him?
Yeah, he's pushing him somewhat. Kazan, 9.6. Mr. Coffee now, 11.5. Soaring Glory. Guard Your Dreams is the springer in the race. He was as big as 23 and 24. He was 15 a second ago now. He's 17.5. But yeah, wide open contest. Anything could win, really. I'd like Guard Your Dreams. And maybe an outsider Buzz, a horse that finished second in the Betfair Exchange Trophy at Christmas. They've been patient with him, and he could run a big race here.
Kevin Brogan, who's having a really good season, taking off 5. That would be key, I think. Good luck to Jess Stafford and Thurlow Thoroughbreds out there. Lovely horse, Buzz. And yeah, again, wouldn't be at all surprised when he did win there earlier on. You thought this would be the race for him, wouldn't you?
He's the yardstick of the entire race, isn't he? He's running all the right races. And just a quick word, I mean, the strange thing about this race is that, for example, So Royale also give this...
For the out of form Alan King.
He is out of form, right? Yeah, come on.
Fickle TC, unbelievable.
In one race, you're not back in form, I mean.
Well, he beat
I'm
Milford,
working with him next week. Kev, steady on. You might be as well, from what I hear as well. Unbelievable. Don't mess around with Alan King, let me tell you that much.
But of course, he won the Welsh Champion Hurdle at Foss Lass, which Buzz was 3rd, Milkwood was 4th, Lightly Squeezed was 7th. So, bizarrely, that form has suddenly been given a boost for this.
Here. It's a wonderful race, isn't it? They're all abreast. You used to go to this meeting, didn't you? And the pace they go to the first hurdle used to be something insane. Annual Invictus, a horse that Dickie Johnson is on for Chris Gordon, who's got Highway 102 in there as well, hasn't he? How good could he be? A horse that likes to get on with it a little bit. Couple being left aside, just out of the pack at the moment. Lightly Squeezed is one of them. Something of a forgotten horse. Night Edition is interesting here as well, isn't he? For Team Pipe. Wild Max, not mention him. On to Victory for the out of form Alan King as well. Glory and Fortune, haven't mentioned him. Fred, we should have had a word on him. They tried to make him into a chase. It didn't really work at Warwick. He took off towards the end of last season. You can see it. The flag is up then. Roscoe, would you mind calling the last one?
You've thrown me this one. I thought you were going to take this one.
Barry's moaning about it. Oh, is it a full C? I don't know. Yeah, he's waving the flag. The flag is being waved, the yellow flag.
That's 5 false starts in 7 years for this race.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's the most useless stat.
How did you know that?
If the flag is waved, I suggest.
On Twitter.
How do you determine a full start? It's usually when somebody breaks the line. They didn't really do that. They're sort of jostling for position, but he wasn't happy with it at the start. He was being a little bit picky there, Barry, wasn't he?
Just a bit, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was a horse that hadn't joined the rest of the line at that stage. But what can you do in these races? You know, everyone's jostling for position. It's always going to happen. There's always a chance it's going to happen. We saw it at the festival last year. Many false starts where they were then.
There's also, I think there's about half this field are front runners as well. So
you wouldn't want a standing start in this race, would you? I don't think. You know, how many times you kind of watch, don't you, behind the sofa?
Last year was a standing start. Remember, Not So Sleepy, a horse that everyone expected to get off.
Yes,
the front. He was out the back. He didn't hardly even raise the gallop. The horse.
5 of the last 7 then, but he has let them go in, and we've got a fair start. So it's over to Ross Brierley then for the 2021 Betfair Hurdle.
Yeah, and they're off and racing at that mad gallop that we predicted as they jumped the first. Oh, we've lost one at the back. Is that On to Victory? Oh, no, On to Victory's...
no, who was that?
Highway
102?
Wild Max, I think it was. It was Wild Max we've lost out the back. But For Pleasure looks like the one who's going to get to the front first with Highway 102.
What a gallop they're going.
This is a mad gallop, isn't it?
If you're on the coattails of For Pleasure, you'll be thinking to yourself, I'm going too fast. I'm settling at least.
You say that, but at the back I was just thinking 50 balls not settled. Time White's a bit keen. Shake 'em up Harry's a bit keen. So there's about 3 races in one here. But For Pleasure, Highway 102, Gallis McCarlo, then Glory and Fortune in behind those. with, I think it might be Night Edition on his outside in the yellow silks, or maybe Gumball.
It's Gumball, isn't it?
I mean, again, if Gumball's in 5th...
You're trapping, aren't you?
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the sights in racing when you go to watch this Betfair hurdle and you go down at the start, they go 5 furlong pace. I'm telling you, to the first, it's mental.
If you're on Soaring Glory, you're
Perfect.
in a lovely position.
Yeah, the perfect position. Lots of space around him.
I thought he was quiet. He's just getting his the out of form TC.
John Joe's travelling lovely on the inside. He's got the perfect position in the race.
Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately for calling what's actually happening here, they're going such a pace, they're strung out that we can barely see what's out the back. But Shake 'em Up Harry just being Shake 'em Up.
Kadzand right out the back, isn't he? Again, a horse that does take a keen hold. Despite this gallop, he's put him for his head.
So for pleasure then, Gallis McCarlo, Highway 102. And then in the mid-pack, just skipping a few, Time White trying to move up, Lightly Squeeze moving up onto Victory, Soaring Glory. Edward Stone, Buzz behind those. Being scrubbed along at the back is Mac the Man, who is not particularly enjoying this experience, nor is Night Edition. Milkwood is always held up last, but he's still not enjoying it either by the looks of things. Fred gets a crack of the whip after 2 minutes, which is not great for if you back Fred. On the inside there, just having a look, I think that might well be Annual Invictus, just behind the John Joe Runner. 50 Ball coming through the gears as well.
He's travelling powerfully now, 50 Ball.
He is. He was a bit keen early on, but they've started to bunch up a little bit now. Of those at the head of the bet we haven't mentioned, just looking for Mr. Coffee, he's got 3 or 4 behind, and Buzz as well, dropping back through the field, not in a great position for him. The favourite Kadzand, as you said, is wide outside in about 18th position, I would say.
Mr. Coffee right out the back as well, Barry. So what's the market saying as they get really hot now in the Betfair hurdle?
Yeah, Soaring Glory's your favourite in, running a 5.2. 9 Kazan, 10 Milkwood. Shake 'em Up Harry, 18.5, 16.5 on to Victory. For Pleasure still 36, and he's leading them to the third last.
Okay, in the home straight we go then. Absolutely, Mr. Coffee starts to make a move. Here we go, boys. 2 out. We're coming to Ross Brierley.
For Pleasure still out in front then. We said they'd gone a mad gallop. But
look at Soaring Glory go. Come on.
Time White coming down this near side as well. Got every chance. Soaring Glory is
Come on,
absolutely
Soaring.
swinging. Time White, though, has got a big chance for the Nichols Yard. Lightly Squeeze onto Victory. Edwardstone, Buzz. Time White is on the bridle here, as is Soaring Glory.
Come on, Soaring.
Behind
We got
those
this.
50 Ball coming through with a run. Baliska and
Don't get
Kadzand
caught
out
out,
the
John
back.
Joe.
Soaring Glory, 50 Ball, the winning machine,
he's
is coming
running
down
around.
with a
Come on.
chance as well. Soaring Glory, 50 Ball.
Come
Milkwood,
on, then.
Edwardstone. Behind those, Time White hasn't picked up.
Come
50
on,
Ball.
then.
Soaring Glory,
TC,
Edwardstone.
come on.
50 Ball. Soaring Glory, though, is he as
Go
well?
on,
Had he
Soaring
kept as
Glory.
Tom said, he might well
Go
be.
on, my
Soaring
old
Glory
son. Go
pulling
on,
out
boy.
plenty up towards the line. And Soaring Glory, another big
Happy
handicap win at
days.
Newbury. This time over hurdles for John Joe O'Neill. Soaring Glory wins easily in the
Oh,
end.
yes.
From 50 Ball, Edwardstone, Annual Invictus and Buzz for 4th and 5th, probably in that order. 6, I think, was Guard Your Dreams. 7, Mr. Coffee.
Wowee, nap time in the studio. Out of form, we called him. Happy days, TC. We were confident. We didn't quite expect him to be travelling that well 2 out. Get Me Out of Here, I believe, must have been John Joe's last winner. It reminds me of that chap. He, of course, went on to Cheltenham after this. All about the county hurdle now. This is a talented animal.
Yeah, he's a stone and a half well in. He's a 150 horse in the making. Probably 150 horse now. You know, John Joe's given him a great ride. I feel like I'm a jockey after a big race win. I'm trying to be composed, but look, that was a brilliant ride, and at no point do you look like losing.
How do you feel, Tom? How do you feel?
I feel fantastic, thanks, Ross. Look, it's all about the team, and John Joe's done a great job.
I'll tell you what, though, we all feel a bit like a jockey from 2 out because I was telling him what to do. Don't get caught out, John Joe, I was shouting, because 50 Ball comes up on his outside. Time White, that's a really good comeback from him. He's come at him. Looking for where some of the others were. What was third in the end?
Edwardstone, I think. He ran a great race as well.
He's your benchmark, isn't he? With the
Penalised
penalised runners do. Guard Your Dream's absolutely trapping, isn't he?
But I mean, this is the thing we've said.
Oh yeah.
Every time we analyse races on this show afterwards, you think the amount of times in running where we said that's in the perfect position, that's in the perfect position. Soaring Glory wasn't too far back, but wasn't involved in the hot pace either. Was in 6th or 7th.
Perfect position.
Absolutely spot on throughout. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th position throughout on the inside. When the pace collapses, he can take it up.
He's shown a quirk or two again, isn't he? Do you remember when he came down at Wetherby?
Yeah.
They were astonished when he fell that day, I think. It was all been about getting him back that Ascot run. I'm so delighted for the team. We sent Rob Lee and a couple of guys went down to John Joe's last week, and this is a massive win for them. And he said, I'm a little bit light on Cheltenham this year. Look at what they're doing in Ireland. But I tell you what, that's genius training. Graham Rodway, I'm afraid it is. And it's a perfect model, this horse. It was the Dusart run that put, if he travelled like that, Dusart now looking on and thinking, oh, what sort of horse is that, hopefully, for next year. Terrible accident he had on the Seven Barrows Gallops. We're watching it back now. How much more is there to come?
I mean, I don't know what he's going to get put up for this, but I think he's a Grade 1 horse. Like, I've thought that since when he beat Brave Man's
10
Game.
from 25 for the Supreme.
Yeah, that's very reasonable, I'd suggest. He was the horse that, you know, earlier when you said what's going to beat Appreciate It, he was the one I was really hoping would step up. And he may well do now. Look, he's got a great engine. He travels through his races so well. He jumps well. He left his hind legs in the second last, I think, and he briefly looked in trouble, but he regathered his stride and came straight back on the bridle in the style of a graded horse.
He's by far the best horse in that race.
Guard Your Dreams is one of the biggest eye catchers of the season there,
really
Barry,
is,
isn't it?
isn't
Yeah, you called that.
He's a horse that likes to be up with it, Dave, and when they had to do the restart, he was nearer last and first. He didn't jump too well either. He jumped very novicey at some of his hurdles, but he stayed on really well.
Yeah. Eye catchers galore then. I'll tell you what, Night Edition was another one that's catching the eye a little bit as well. He could be a sneaky one for the County because he's all about Cheltenham for him. Second in the Fred Winter last year. The start just didn't look like it helped him at all. You've got to look back at these races. With Buzz running on into fourth, really good run from him. He's our benchmark for the race with Edwardstone, really. Edwardstone, was he sixth in the Supreme last year? Something like that, wasn't it? Something else flying. Is it Annual Invictus?
Annual Invictus.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Strong
handicap debut today
form. Mr. Coffee back in eighth.
Yeah.
Did we get the 7 places there for Guard Your Dreams, Barry? Was he finishing on that strong?
He was sixth. Yeah, he was sixth. Yeah.
Happy days then. So let's look. That was a real treat, wasn't it? And personally, we're very happy with that.
Yeah.
I hope you followed him. There's serious
Where did
confidence.
Kazan finish?
From top. Where did Kazan? Yeah, he's sort of running on. He just looked like he pulled for his head a bit early. Probably about 10th, something like that, Barry, I think. He's not making any inroads from off the pace. His jaw was to one side as well. I'm not totally sure this track suits him. Turning track again.
Lightly squeezed looked like he was running well too for a while. Where did he finish?
He's
lightly
back,
squeezed.
he's actually fallen out the back after.
Oh, did he? Right, okay.
Shake
Just
him up,
interested in
Harry.
the fry angle there.
Shake him up, Harry, of course, running on. They changed tactics with Shake him up, Harry. Second in the Tolworth last time. He's running on a little bit towards the end. Don't give up if you're on Metier so far. So basically, Soaring Glory absolutely swooped and took out the Betfair. Happy day. Strong form. County Hurdle it would be for me. I have to say, get him there. Lovely job. But you think Supreme, you think he's that good?
Yeah, I think he can really put it up to Appreciate It.
Kalashnikov. Did Get Me Out of Here go Supreme afterwards?
I was just looking, he won this off 135, Soaring Glory's off 133, and then he finished second in the Supreme.
And you do tend to see it with this, don't you?
Dancer.
My Tent or Yours.
Andy.
Yeah.
My Tent or Yours, of course. Was so. Look, maybe it will be Supreme. Lee Motterson's our man on track. He will be giving you the quotes as soon as you get them. You can get them of course, in the reports. It'll be on the main page, no doubt, of the website, in your paper tomorrow, and your analysis races as well. Unmissable stuff. 50 Ball. Know a lot of you were really keen about him. He's got a blinder, isn't he? Goshen Colours having a weekend to remember, and Edwardstone for Alan King as well. I really, really enjoyed that. It was an absolute pleasure. Let's hope you did at home as well. We've been really good to have you all along for these 2 days. We didn't think we were going to have a double header. Been like a mini festival, isn't it, Barry Orr?
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a great weekend of racing, wasn't it, Dave? You know, we've had the highs and lows. We saw Dashel Drasher yesterday, which was great for a small outfit, win their Grade 1 in Ascot. And then today, obviously, you know, great synergy with John Joe O'Neill. Great piece in the Racing Post today around him and his yard up in Jackdaw's Castle. And he lands the big race, father and son connection. Not the father and son connection I wanted to see win the race, but well done, 10-point Tom. Great shout.
Yeah, losses lent on Guard Your Dreams, I think, for Team Twisters. Yeah, the RP Reed, we knew. It's easy to say. TC, great to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah,
Are we going to see you before Cheltenham?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of times. I think I'm in. Is it next week or the week
Next
after?
week, we've got the Ida Chase up at
And twice
Newcastle.
during Cheltenham as
We've
well.
got the Great Kempton meeting, and of course, we've got the Lingfield meeting.
Winter Derby, yeah.
So a little bit of everything. Roscoe, plenty going on for you, my man.
Yeah, I'm back in here tomorrow night.
Plenty going on.
Cheltenham
Yeah,
preview. Fun.
Great stuff. Happy days.
We've got loads to talk about this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Personal highlights of the whole weekend. Well, I think let's move on. Roscoe?
I was just going to say, just to give Tom credit, though, because we've said a few races here today where Tom said, no bet for me, and he's waited until the last race where he's got the one he actually fancies to have a bet on, and that is it's a good lesson, I think, for people watching. So
there is a good lesson. He didn't really help people that would have liked to have had a better bet market, Rasen, but must do better. It's the youthful exuberance of 10 points on. That's what we always say. But get it right where it matters. Isn't a very important message. You're quite right.
Exactly, and anyone who wants to play up the winnings, US tip.
Here he is.
Yeah, just
Here
one.
he is.
It's a short price, and I mentioned that earlier. Like it's a difficult card tonight, the likes of Gulfstream and Aqueduct. One at Golden Gate
Make your
Fields.
tea if you want, Ross, at this point.
I'll be quick. One at Golden Gate Fields in the 9.53. Horse called I'm a Rumbler, short price favourite. Put it up earlier at 6 to 5.
Great name.
Into odds on now, but been catching the eye in maiden special weight contest. Dropped down to maiden claimer. Small field tonight. Easiest task by a mile. Wide trip last time. We'll get a good trip today. We'll win.
Okay, superb. TC, see you next weekend. Roscoe, plenty going on for you. Highlight Secret Investor?
Personally, yeah, absolutely. In terms of actual performance.
Purity?
In terms of what?
In terms of purity?
In terms of purity, that win, that was a proper...
That's the sort of thing that gets the Brierley
It's a
buzz.
proper handicap winner, that is. That proper handicap block. You like to see them to go through the ranks. So yeah, Soaring Glory was an incredibly impressive performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely stuff. Thanks to the guys at Gallery, Rob Lee and Will Carey. We will be back with you. Don't you worry about it next Saturday. More to come for you here on RP Live. Thanks for joining us.